now's the time when things are shifting. There's gonna be a new world order out there. And we've got to lead it.
True international depression.
You are fake news.
I am not suicidal.
We'll circle back with you directly. If I can circle back, I'll circle back with you.
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
Hello and welcome to episode 332 of the Jeffrey and Brian Show. I am Jeffrey.
And I'm Brian.
Oh, there's two guys drinking some beers, talking about what's going on. And I was just thinking about it, dude. How we got this Google Doc and we have all these articles in here and we got them like all in order and everything. Then I compared it to how we started out doing this on your back porch with a note. We would get drunk watching UFC fights, talk about random shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had a pencil and paper. We wrote down the stuff we had heard about in the news in the week.
Yep. We got a little bit more sophisticated.
And we're still making just as much money.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Well, anyway, along the lines of follow-up stuff. Sorry, I just hit that pipe twice when you were gone, and it just hit me right in the face all of a sudden. Don't you love when that happens?
Yeah.
Blue Origin. Was that the same one that landed? Was that Elon Musk's company, Blue Origin?
No,
that's Bezos.
That's Bezos' company, Blue Origins.
Okay.
That's why they're putting up the Amazon satellites.
Well, apparently not, because it freaking fell out of orbit.
And they try to downplay it by saying it was a mishap, and the FAA didn't like how they classified it, and they want a lot more information.
Well, the big deal with this is that you have to reuse the
They reused the booster rockets on it.
Yeah, and they're like, oh yeah, it's awesome, it worked. It's like, but they didn't get this satellite in orbit properly.
No, and it burned up almost instantly.
Yes.
And
now
those satellites ain't cheap.
I know.
I'm
hey,
sure there's insurance on them, but still, you know.
Imagine being an insurance company on a shuttle. You know what I mean?
Well,
like, we're covering this? No way. So now the FAA has grounded them from launching this thing again.
Yeah.
Until they can get some actual information, like you said.
And this company has been having problems from pretty much the get-go. Their test flight to the space station, the astronauts had to stay up there for like 10 months when it was supposed to be a 10-day cruise. Reminds me of the Gilligan's Island theme song, you know?
3-hour tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember this actually.
And they had to come back. Elon had to send a special ship up
Elon
there
Musk had to send
early.
a rocket up. Yeah, and everyone's like, we don't want him to do that. It's like, you just want to leave these people in the space station because you hate Elon Musk?
You know, and then the rocket did make it down safely on autopilot, but, you know, you don't know, you know, you're better off doing it the way they did it, you know, to be on the safe side. So this Blue Origins has been plagued with problems since the get-go, so.
Honestly, I'm not surprised because they're trying to do a lot of new stuff just like SpaceX is doing. They're not trying to go the conventional the way the government did it before.
Right.
So you're going to run into issues, and a lot of people don't like that these billionaires are doing these programs. Like, it's a waste of money. You could be feeding people. No, this is going to make this competition between these guys is going to make it so we can actually travel sooner. You know what I mean? Why take the taxpayers' dollars to figure out how to colonize Mars if a billionaire will do it, you know? Right. And hey, he wants to get there first because he wants to mine Mars. And the other billionaire wants to get there first because he wants to mine Mars. You know what I mean? That's going to be working at faster and faster.
Yep.
You know, capitalism. Oh, my goodness, you know?
Yeah.
Do you remember this Olivia Henderson girl, the DoorDash girl?
Is that the one? Yeah, we talked about her last week where, you know, at first they made it sound like it was just random, but then we dug into the article more and it wasn't random.
No, well, she broke into the guy's house, video recorded him.
Oh, different DoorDasher. Okay.
Almost naked, and then published it online saying I was just sexually assaulted. It's like you're not supposed to go into the guy's house and record him, then publish it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and she said she was sexually assaulted. It's like the guy was unconscious, you know?
Yeah.
And then she went on and said, "Well, I'm gonna make sure I post this everywhere I can. Maybe he'll at least be embarrassed and maybe he'll learn a lesson." And it's like, okay, so right there, you're showing that you're premeditating. This is your intent to do this. It's not just ignorance or naivety.
Yeah.
She's facing 8 years in prison for her conduct of breaking and entering and recording someone in their home without their permission, publishing it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
She's still claiming victim. She's actually got a video out there screaming, "I'm the victim here." It's like, no, you're not the victim if you broke into someone's house. Okay. Right.
Yeah. That's not how it works.
Yeah. And hey, if you want to play this game, let's be real about some of these 30-something-year-old women that answer the door and almost nothing because they're lonely when they get a pizza delivered. Let's watch all of those women start getting blamed for sexual assault because they're actually answering the door, you know?
Right.
Okay. Knew the SAVE Act wasn't going to get through, didn't we?
Yeah. It
Was
made too much sense.
Well, it's 70% of Democrat voters said, yes, you should have some kind of identification to vote. This is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
This is absolutely against what the people wanted because all the Democrats voted against and 4 Republicans voted against it. And
Yeah.
it was decided in advance this wasn't going to happen because then the Republican Party wouldn't have this to run on. And then the Democrats wouldn't be able to get their extra votes with the census and gerrymandering, you know?
Right.
Which we will definitely get into.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we talked about these Chicago schools a couple times, how they're basically like taking days off to have the kids go protest.
Right.
Which I can't
They
believe
call it an optional civic engagement trip.
Yeah, but it's to you. Oh my God. Then you have to give the right wing the Turning Point USA chapter. You have to give them a day they can just skip school to go protest the Democrats then. You know what I mean? You can't say you have to follow our political cause. Of course they're gonna go instead of going to school. You know what I mean? I just think it's crazy. Like, oh, look at all these kids showing up. It's like, yeah, this is truancy. That's against the law.
Right.
They're supposed to be in school.
But nobody's gonna do anything about it.
No, here actually, if my daughter's not in school on time, they call us.
Right.
If we didn't tell them in advance or something, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think you shared this about.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a New Testament scholar has got a book out that he says there's more evidence that Jesus was real.
Well, whoever said he wasn't real?
I know.
I mean, even the Jews acknowledge Jesus.
It's hit the top sellers of both Amazon and New York Times lists, and for it to make it to New York Times, that typically they like to try to like finagle the numbers so religious books don't get high up on the list, except for the Bible. They had no control over the Bible. The Bible's, still like one of the top selling books.
Yeah, but the New York Times best-selling list doesn't mean that it's actually like the best-selling books. That's just what New York Times picks.
Right.
As a like, hey, these are the biggest books right now, according to them, not according to sales. But I did notice in here, it said something about the Shroud of Turin, and I could have sworn that had been proven to be a hoax already.
Okay.
Maybe, I mean, I could be wrong. I could have sworn it was proven that it was only like 20 years old and it was like cheesecloth or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I haven't heard many people claim that Jesus never existed. Usually the argument is he wasn't God,
Right.
I mean, Islam recognizes Jesus as a prophet. The Jews recognize him as a prophet. The Christians recognize him as God,
Yeah.
Hey, maybe it is possible. It was just a really nice guy way back in the day who just went around helping people all the time. That's not so hard to believe, honestly. All right. The scientists thing. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure you've been hearing about it for a while, just like
Yeah,
I
for a few
have. But
weeks. Uh-huh. Yeah.
yeah, but like I don't want to get into it yet. I don't want to get into it. But I guess NASA has made a statement about one of their scientists who went missing or
And apparently
died.
the federal government's launched investigation into it too.
Well, I don't know if you've noticed, but all these scientists are have been involved in like nerve agents. They've been working with weapons, weapons tech, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What's even crazier is a whole
Even
bunch
in
of
space tech too.
yes. Well, one woman who just killed herself allegedly had a month before sent messages out to her friends saying, "I am not suicidal. That someone's coming to get me. I don't know why." She actually it looked like at one point it looked like they tried to cook her with some kind of radiation through her window. It was pretty gross. She got nasty sunburns all over herself. But anyway, she was working on some kind of anti-gravity technology and said, I'm not going to do any of this stuff. And then boom, turns up with a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. This NASA one here, with the ties to space tech, isn't she the one who's doing the nerve agent stuff or something?
Oh, that was an army person.
Oh,
Army.
okay. Oh, okay. I'm
Yes.
sorry. My mistake.
It was it was ruled an accidental death despite disputed evidence.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. It sounds like people involved in certain things are disappearing. Yeah, and wasn't this army dude, was he the one who drove his Tesla somewhere without his phone and then was burned beyond recognition? Or was that was another one of these scientists too? And I was like, this is
Um,
this is crazy. And it turns out China is having a lot of scientists disappear too.
yes. Well, no, this guy was 71 years old. His vehicle rolled backwards down a driveway at home, trapping him beneath it.
Oh, that sucks. That's actually, isn't that basically what happened to the dude from the Star Trek movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, nah, geez, what a terrible way to die. And okay, so what's the deal with the what high what's HUD again? It's urban
HUD,
develop housing and urban
Housing and
development.
Urban Development.
Yeah. What loophole are they talking about? Because I keep hearing it saying loopholes, loopholes, but basically what's happening is
I think this loophole is well, maybe I don't know what this article is, but do we have another category? Okay. I'm thinking of another HUD article. Let me look at this one.
all
We'll get to the other article here when we get to the other category. Okay,
right.
no, this is the same article. This new HUD rule will stop sheltering illegals in public housing. So
Shouldn't
basic,
that
that
already
should
be
have
the
already been a
policy though?
thing. Yes, I agree.
No, not even should it have.
Because
But like,
basically,
how is
when people come into the country, they have to commit to not getting on the public dole. And getting public housing is getting on the public dole. We're supposed to
we
be prohibited from giving people like that financial assistance.
well in particular because if you let all of the poor of the world come here and we're going to pay for them, then everyone will be poor. You know?
Hmm.
Jeez, that's a lot of ice in that mug, dude.
It's gonna melt.
God, did it get
The
hot
the
up?
rum will be gone before the ice is.
Did it get good and hot up there today?
Not too bad. Like I think in the 70s. Been cloudy
Yeah.
most of the day.
Yeah, I wonder what Virginia's like today. It was like today.
Well, they had a frost warning a couple of nights ago, so
We just had a frost like a week ago. I was like, what the hell is going on here? But yeah, anyway,
yeah, and they're saying that the the illegals are the one that took advantage of a loophole in the law, and the Trump administration is trying to close this loophole, and they're also using this is how they're cracking down on arresting more illegals by finding them in public housing.
yeah, and actually, in the
Because
article here,
basically
somewhere it
what they're
said,
saying is if you got all these illegals on housing, like in New York City, there's 220 100,000 people. They're on a wait list for public housing apartments.
Yeah. And then you're gonna go and put illegal immigrants in there instead.
Yeah, and there's 64,000 of them combined in Boston. Yeah. So this should open up more housing for actual U.S. citizens.
Well, it's gonna be funny, and it's not funny, haha, but in a sad, ironic way, that ICE is just gonna go through these major cities looking for these illegal immigrants tossed out on the streets with all their possessions. They go, oh, there they are, there they are, there they are, you know?
Yep.
Because if a law gets passed, actually gets like all the way through, there has to be a date that has to go into effect.
Right.
And on that day, you're gonna see a whole bunch of people losing their homes. Which, and not saying I want these folks to be homeless, but I don't think we should be paying for their housing either. You can't come in
No.
here and be a net drain on the economy, or else why would we bring you here?
Yeah.
Uh, well, check this out. We next county over from me, or two counties over from me, there's a silver um reclamation factory or something. I'm not sure exactly what they do, but
Okay.
they had a chemical reaction and they were getting ready, they were actually closing this plant down.
Hmm.
And they had a chemical reaction that got out of control that they weren't expecting with some kind of acid mixed with something. Killed two people, 19 more went to the hospital. One dude even showed up to the hospital in a trash truck because the guy ran away from the toxin, and the first person that saw him was a trash truck driver and drove him straight to the emergency room.
Okay.
It's just, yeah, they shut the area down around it for like 5 miles and went in with a cleanup crew. It could have been a lot worse than it was.
Right.
Uh, and this is interesting. The United States Geological Society has detected an earthquake in the town next to, well, I say town next to me, a town in my county had a 2.5 magnitude earthquake, which isn't, most people didn't even notice it. And it was 6.5 miles underground. It just surprised me because I was under the impression that that stuff didn't happen here anymore. Like the Appalachian Mountains are the oldest on the planet,
Uh-huh.
and like all that activity had stopped, making me wonder: is this just not quite stopped, but slowed down to the point where it's not being noticed, or are the mountains moving again? I guess another 100,000 years will tell us, huh?
Yep. We'll find out here before we die.
In 100,000 years. And a woman, actually, this is interesting. I came across this article on my searching local news tab on my news app. Local woman in my county, she's a congregant of my church, is
Okay.
looking for a kidney donor for her daughter. They have some kind of genetic disease, and she's got some kind of like crystals in her blood or something weird that rips her kidneys up.
Wow.
She got a new kidney 20 years ago almost,
Uh-huh.
and already destroyed it. And they're trying to find a live donor instead of a cadaver
Hmm.
organ donor because there's a better chance of everything working right, and they usually last longer.
Okay.
Oof, that's a rough one, you know. How many times can you ask for a kidney before people stop donating kidneys to you, you know?
Exactly.
All right, what's going up in next to Canada land?
Uh, we got uh we got some ICE detainees here in the state. They're on hunger strike over their living conditions,
Okay, so does that mean we don't have to keep shipping food there?
pretty much.
All right, that sounds like we're saving money. That's awesome.
They're in two cell blocks in Northern Lake Processing Center. They stopped eating on they were April 19th. So that's as much of the articles I can read because I'm not paying to read it. So
Yeah, was it Reuters?
yeah.
Yeah, I hate those.
I don't think it was
You're
Roy. It was Detroit News. So
Oh, all right. I know Reuters, and half the time it would just send me to like their main web page, and I'm like, what? But the article was You had a headline and there's no
Right.
story here. And this is interesting. I read this article that you sent me about 600 pounds of pot
Yeah.
got destroyed.
Yeah. Apparently, it wasn't being processed through the legal channels of Michigan.
That's
But
what I saw. It's illicit marijuana.
no charges were filed against this person because they couldn't prove that he was doing anything illegally.
That's just crazy. If you have to destroy 600 pounds of pot, and what did it say, anywhere between like $1.5 and $2 million
Yeah.
of value, if you had to destroy 600 pounds of marijuana, because then someone should be facing charges. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The average person for personal consumption does not have that much marijuana.
Even when I go nuts and grow a whole bunch of trees in the summer because I can, then I freeze it. I don't get anywhere near 600 pounds. Are you kidding me?
No.
I would have to plant my entire mountainside to get 600 pounds of pot. And we're talking probably buds, not whole plants, right?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Jeez Louise. Repeat offender has returned once
You know,
again.
lad. Yeah, lads say, "Oh yeah, I'm still on a ban, still suspended."
Yeah,
That's why
That's
you've
why
got
you're the
multiple accounts.
that's why you're the repeat
Oh.
offender.
Like these liberals, I tell you what, they only know one way to do things, and that's cancel people. They can't argue a point.
No, they get offended and then they
Yep.
go and report you. And it's like, what did I most of the stuff I've ever been in Facebook jail for was because someone got offended at a fact. And I'm
Right.
like,
Yep.
I don't understand how I am not allowed to log into my account for a week because, someone else didn't like the numbers that got released by the IRS or something, you
Right.
know?
Uh-huh.
Well, I think it was only a month and a half ago I had to do a selfie to prove who I was. Then I get this big apology from Facebook that I've been suspended. Oh, we know this happens all the time. Next minute, the same
You're
thing's happened
suspended.
again. I'm suspended again. They won't let me take a selfie this time. So I found the email that you right away to. So I put a couple of nice little emails through.
Oh, yeah. I'm
Fingers
sure.
crossed. I've only got 160 something days left to appeal.
Well, no, hold on. You sound like a Republican. You wrote a strongly worded letter and that did nothing about it.
I threw in some pictures to help them out with crayons.
It's Facebook. Good luck finding a real person to talk to.
Oh, I know, mate. Yeah, I know.
Actually, that's why I still use Facebook because I actually know the people there for the most part. Like they're actually people I know or have interacted with. When I go on X, it's like, if you have to pick and choose who you want to follow instead of having like friends you talk to. You know what I mean?
Right. Mm-hmm.
You go and I put an idea out into the ether. If nobody knows who the fuck I am, no one's ever going to see what I tweeted except for like my friends, which I can just send them right across on Facebook anyway,
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, mate. At least you're doing a food story these days. So you're getting your tits out. Nobody wants to see it.
Yeah. Well, that's what's funny too. These they're calling it feminism now and empowerment when these girls, these 20-year-old 20 somethings, wearing the skin or tighter than skin tight, tiny shorts to the gym and like showing their ass off. It's like, that's empowerment. It's like last week you were complaining that dudes were looking at you wearing that at the gym,
Yeah, it's a new week, a new story, eh?
Oh, good God. Anyway, Brian, we got one more Michigan story.
Let's see here. Oh yeah, it's we have this 20-year-old woman who was operating in a vehicle while intoxicated after driving through a construction zone, which was an active construction zone at the time. There were actually people working in this construction zone.
Oh, you drive through construction zones all the time because unless you know what I mean, they usually give you a way through unless they put a detour, which you occasionally do.
This road was closed. She was trying to go on.
Okay.
And
So
they were able to get her stopped, and surprise, surprise, she was drunk and underage. So I hope she enjoyed that joyride because she ain't
That's
gonna
the
be
end of that.
driving again anytime soon.
No, right. There
punishment?
goes her license.
What's your punishment there for that sort of thing?
Well, it's a DUI, and so that's like a $10,000 fine in court costs. and
And you
probably
could-
jail time.
You
And
could
she's
have your license
underage.
revoked.
And she's underage. Her license definitely going to be revoked.
Yeah, it might be gone for
underage.
5 years.
Here in Australia, we've got. Sorry.
No, I'm saying she's
Sure,
almost
mate.
certainly going to lose her license because she's under 21.
Oh,
They're almost certainly going to take it away for 5 years.
Yep.
here in Australia, if we go through anyone working on the side of the road, whether it's a police officer pulling over somebody, we've got to automatically slow down to 40 k's, which is probably about
Yeah.
20,
And
20
pull
something
over
rules.
if possible. Moving to
Yeah,
the
we've
other
got
way.
to slow
If we-
down or get over rule.
If we strike anyone work on the side of the road with our vehicle, whether they live or
Homicide.
whatever, even if they live, it's automatically 10 years jail. If we go through anything over 40 k's and we hit somebody,
No, okay.
on the side of the road, a bus pulled over, anything like, you know what I mean? Anyone walking
Yeah,
out
I know what you
pedestrian.
Or
Yeah.
even the prisoners out picking up trash.
Yeah, 10 years straight away. Then you get on top if you murder someone.
Yeah, exactly. Then you're dealing with a vehicular homicide. You know,
Yeah.
depending on how crazy Australia wants to go, you could even get him with murder at that point instead of just manslaughter. You know, I don't know if you
It's
guys have
intentional.
different rules.
Well, it's intentional then. If you purposely go through a 40 k speed zone, that's intent.
Yeah. Well, that's what's got
There's
me
lots
about
of
this
guys
because
that-
usually you have guys working on the side of the road. These guys were working on the road and she
Right.
drove through. Could you imagine being the guy with like heavy equipment looking at the car coming at you like, oh
Yeah.
fuck.
Exactly.
Unless you're in a big roller. You're pretty clean.
Boom.
Straight over the top.
watch her just splat against it.
Dukes of Hazzard wasn't real, lady.
Virginia, actually. We were just mentioning Virginia, Brian.
Yeah.
We were talking about that curfew last week, weren't we?
Yep. And I said that there were lawsuits already pending on it. And the lawsuit prevailed this weekend. There is no 9:30 all ages curfew.
Not just that, but before this, no, this was in effect, dude, in Virginia Beach.
For a whole weekend.
And
Okay.
a woman got picked up. She got arrested for
For
going outside
smoking
to
outside
smoke
of
it.
her.
to
She was
smoke
outside
a
of her
cigarette.
house smoking.
You're joking.
No, they picked her up and arrested her for because she was out past
Outside.
curfew. And I was like, geez, what happened to Liberty? And it's like, yeah, she doesn't want her house to stink like cigarettes.
That
Okay?
course has already been thrown out and dismissed. So,
Oh, I would sue the city over that if I were her, wouldn't you?
yep.
I would love to be her lawyer.
Oh, yeah.
Her
go on,
lawyer
nail
is a
the
pretty famous
wall.
lawyer in Virginia, Tim Anderson.
I don't know the name of that.
He shows up on my Facebook feed all the time now. So,
Oh,
He would be
wow.
retiring. He would be retiring on the money she could make.
Yeah, especially depending on
and the businesses hated it too because,
Yeah.
you
shut
know,
business down.
yeah. I mean,
What kind of bar? Yeah, what kind of bar? Okay, so you go to Virginia Beach, right? Gorgeous sandy white sand beaches, right? You spend the day on the beach, and then you go with your boys to the tavern, the pub, the bar, whichever
you
one
got to
you
be
like.
out there by 9:30.
You have to leave by 9:30. I don't even get to watch the fight. You know? I mean, what bars are you even going to bother opening? Like they
Well,
have to be out by
Peabody's
the time you
didn't
start
last
bringing.
weekend.
Yeah, by the time money starts coming in the door, you have to send them home.
Yeah.
That's your nighttime economy. Imagine what they could sue for. Your
Yeah,
bars and restaurants. Like, that's where they
I-
make their.
I
that's where they
know,
make
and
their
I would.
money.
There should be a giant lawsuit about this ever being put into
Class
effect
action.
because this is flat out against liberty. This is
Right,
about
class
everything
action.
against everything that this country is founded upon.
Yeah. And Virginia's got laws in place to not allow this to happen after COVID. So,
Virginia also had a law to prevent them from gerrymandering, but you know,
Yeah. They're really good
we
at
get to
aren't
that, don't we?
oh, we will get to that. Don't worry. That's
Okay.
gonna be a
Oh, I
big
can't
part
wait
of tonight. Okay, so Ilhan Omar,
Yep.
I love how her name keeps showing up everywhere, and it's all bad news for her. So remember when she
She-
filed her taxes and said
Yeah,
she
she
had
was a
worth like
millionaire.
worth $30 million or whatever. Everyone's
Uh-huh.
like, whoa, where'd this come from? Turns out it was an accounting error. And
I don't know how
guess-
you have a $30 million accounting error, and you have to sign that form to turn into the disclosure form. You have to turn into the federal government. Did she not read the form and realize that
$30 million,
there was a
$30
$30
million
million
difference.
accounting error?
$30 million difference isn't just a moved decimal point. You know, I mean, you had to move it several times
Mhm.
for that
You
kind of
don't
error to
realize.
happen.
I would notice
Yeah.
if I had $3 million claimed on my taxes and I don't make anything near that.
Then how
But
did you pay your taxes?
you do realise that her accountant got certified at the Leering Centre.
Of course. Yes, the Leering Center, exactly. Speaking of, Omar refused to go speak before Congress concerning all the
The Minnesota
yeah,
State Congress.
about all of her dealings with this fraud going on with child care,
And
health
they
care,
weren't a
etc.
happy camper, but I don't know what kind of um what kind of consequences they're going to be for not showing up to the state
The state still has
legislature.
authority within the state, whether or not she's a federal congresswoman.
Wasn't she
Right?
just given 5 days to appear? They just subpoena her or something. 5 days she's got to appear.
I guess she refused or didn't show up in time because
She
yeah,
didn't.
I only read something about it this morning. She's got 5 days to appear or something.
maybe something has changed since this came out. Maybe they gave her more time because she had a reason for not being there. Maybe,
Now she's not a
but
millionaire.
yeah, I
Yeah,
can't
she
just
can't
afford to
afford to
fly
fly
back and forth.
back and forth.
Just not, I love this.
Not with the fuel prices at the moment.
She's waiting for her brother to pay her airfare, otherwise known as her
Not with gas
husband.
prices.
Husband. This is the problem. These are all things that are like, oh my god. And they keep
Any one of them,
re-electing this
a
woman.
normal person would raise the bullshit flag and never voted for, but
Yeah.
apparently there ain't sane people living in
Oh
Minnesota.
god.
Yes,
Like I
yes,
said,
she's
her
saving
name,
taxpayers.
yeah, her
Sorry.
name is attached to so many different things, and none of it is good for her.
Now she's
I
saving
don't
taxpayer dollars by
But
getting
she
her brother
keeps
to
getting
drive
reelected.
Oh my god. At some point you think you would just pick anyone else. You know what I mean?
Chuck
No,
Norris.
leave it on here.
Chuck Norris.
Hakeem Jeffrey.
He's better than Ilhan Omar, at least. You know what I mean?
Oh.
He doesn't play the black card as much as he could, and he doesn't play the gay card, although I'm not sure he's gay. He just
I don't know. He's some shoes he wears.
he just seems gay to me, and I don't want to sound homophobic by saying that, but he come across as a man who enjoys the company of another man. You know what I mean?
Have you seen the shoes he wears?
No, I didn't because I'm not gay. See, this is the kind of thing we're talking about here. Women and gay men notice shoes.
Man,
Oh,
apparently the repeat offender.
Well,
My son's gay.
If the
My son's
shoe
gay, he told
fits,
me.
wear it.
oh, there you go. There you go.
My son's gay and he told me about these things.
I got nothing against the homosexuals. I just sometimes you gotta call a spade a spade. Like let's be real. Lindsey Graham. Do you think he really is just a lifelong bachelor, or do you think that he's got a man on the side that he keeps out of public view because he doesn't want to be the gay man?
He's a J. Edgar Hoover.
Possibly. That's what I'm saying. Is
Check who his assistant is. Check who his assistant is.
Oh, all right. Oh, this is great, and I love this. And this is gonna bring
Finally, we've been talking shit about this organization since the first season of the show.
And well, that's the thing. The SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center, used to do great work to stand up for everybody's civil rights, even if you were a despicable, horrible person. They famously represented the Ku Klux Klan once, way back in the day, saying they at least have a right to organize and do all this stuff. Lately, they've been turned into this left-wing weapon, basically. And turns out they've been not representing the Klan per se in a courtroom, but they're funding them and the neo-Nazis.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
So your donations that were supposed to go stop this shit from happening is funding it.
Mm-hmm.
And even more fun, it turns out that these guys organized the Charlottesville thing.
Yeah. Well, they were paying an informer in Charlottesville.
They paid the people that organized it. They got these groups together and said, hey, neo-Nazis, because there's like 37 of you in the country. Hey, Ku Klux Klan, because there's 180 of you in the country. All come together and call it Unite the Right. Turns out they went out and found all these people and brought them together on purpose to do this. And it
Yep.
could have been more dangerous than it was. But I don't know if you recall, Brian, this is why Joe Biden got into the presidential race, was
I
because of what
was
happened there.
listening to a podcast today. I think it was a No Agenda show, and they replayed that his announcement speech because of that.
Yes, exactly. He specifically said, "This is why I am doing this. This has to stop." And it's like, you manufactured a crisis to justify doing something. Oh my God. It's just, if you can't find the hate out there that you claim is there so much, you have to go make it up, because they'll stop getting donations and they'll go out of business as a nonprofit.
That's what they do with racism, right? Democrats.
Hey, thank
And apparently,
God.
since this all came out, this has been going on for like a year at the Southern Poverty Law Center, but it's just finally hitting the national news for everybody else to hear that a lot of the staffers have left because they are disenfranchised with the bad publicity that they're getting. So staff is leaving. They also may see the writing on the wall that realizes that this place ain't going to be around much longer.
Yeah, get out, steal the silverware before the ship sinks, right?
Yeah. Aren't
Just
the
like
FBI onto them? Didn't Cash Patel say he's looking into it?
He might be. I know that they're being brought up on charges, for fraud charges. Yeah, so I mean that's got to be the FBI, right?
Turning Point are going after him too, I think.
Yeah, what can Turning Point do though? Like, investigate?
Nah, I suppose. Look what Nick Shirley did. Look what Nick Shirley did.
Yeah, he can investigate and expose stuff. He can't actually prosecute anybody.
Well, I think I saw that the leaders of the KKK are part of the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Yes, the great grand super wizard, whoever the hell is in charge of the whole
Grand
like
Poobah?
nationwide. Yeah, the guy in charge of the whole nationwide thing, the supreme leader, if you will, is getting paid by these guys.
You're not a good organization if you're funding the KKK.
No, and I'm so glad USAID got shut down the way it did, because our tax dollars were paying for that before.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, can you imagine the fallout once this Band-Aid gets ripped off completely?
Well, the problem is people are just going to deny it, and people are going to believe what they want to believe, no matter what.
Yeah.
I mean, you can show them all this
People
stuff.
don't. Yeah, we've been around and around and around like this. You know, you can show them all the evidence in the world, and they're like, "Yeah, that's made up. That's not true. That's not a reliable news source."
Just like the very fine people on both sides hoax, which was the Charlottesville thing that the SPLC set up.
Yep.
But they're still saying that Trump said the neo-Nazis and the Ku Klux Klan.
That's not what he meant. That's not what he meant at all.
But they don't play then you play the whole clip for him. Then like, oh, you added that on where he said, well, I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis or the white supremacists. It's like, no. The one you've been listening to was cut off intentionally to give you bad information. And they'll just believe that instead. It's like, you could have watched this shit live like the rest of us did too.
But every good right's got about 12 buses, mate, ready to take them back where they bust them in from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's
12 coaches lined up, mate, ready to take them all back.
Take them back to where?
Where they got shipped in from, mate. All right. So you think they're all staged?
I mean, I know they get bust in. A whole bunch of these No Kings protests, they bust in people from like all over the country.
Yeah.
To some of them. Yeah. Okay. I heard about this a couple times this week. I have no idea who this woman is. She's a congresswoman, I guess, federal.
In Florida,
I've never heard
Democrat.
Yeah, I've never heard her name before, but that doesn't mean a whole lot. How many congressional representatives are there, right? I want to say, crap, I have no idea. I know it's in the hundreds. Oh, whatever, it doesn't really matter. But she's been accused of all sorts of like sexual assault or something. Or sexual harassment.
Those 4 women.
Yeah, hey, women can be guilty of inappropriate advances too.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. Equal rights these days.
Well, she said that she was not going to resign, and that these false allegations are, just trying to make her look bad. And I was like, why would anyone try to make you look bad? No one's ever heard of you. You know what I mean? You're not Massey or Omar. You know what I mean? Uh, but yeah, she made a big deal about this, so they decided to do one of those. Hey, we're gonna kick you guys out of your seat. What do they call that, Brian?
Expulsion vote.
Oh, okay, an expulsion vote. And the last one they did, it was funny. This article mentions it's only happened like 6 times in U.S. history.
And Santos.
Yeah, I was like, it just happened recently too, and it was over. They had literally no evidence to bring forward. They just an accusation, and they kicked him out of freaking Congress. We're like, what the fuck just happened? But yeah, they decided to hold one of these votes, and she went ahead and resigned. Which, hey, they gave you at least they gave you the chance to resign your position instead of getting voted out.
Yeah,
But
which is what's
but let's be real, the local people would probably just vote her back into office. They can.
well, it seems to be happening quite a lot in Congress, doesn't it? People resigning lately.
What do you mean?
Well, my favourite dickhead Swalwell's gone.
Well, yeah.
You're looking at another one down in
I had
Texas to just resign.
Yeah, I had a very interesting take on Swalwell. I think his own party set him up because he was splitting the vote in California and it was going to put 2 Republicans on the ticket instead of any Democrats.
I think it still might put 2 Republicans on the ticket.
It still might, but a lot of his votes now are going to go to that the crazy lady or whatever. You know what I mean?
Who's that billionaire coming through? That guy's come through now. They reckon he's pretty hot at the moment from the Democrats. Guy was sitting in the background because they knew what was going on. Nancy gave him the tap on the shoulder, the Smallwell.
Yeah, is Newsom not allowed to run again?
No, he's term limited.
No.
Okay,
He's
now
limited,
can he never run again? Because each state has their own rules.
I don't know.
Like,
I'm not a California resident anymore.
Okay, because I
Thank
was saying,
God.
like Virginia, for example, you can be governor as many times as you win, but just not 2 terms in a row.
Right.
Oh, not consecutive,
But-
yeah, right.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting take because then you're guaranteed some kind of change.
Not necessarily for the better.
No, not necessarily, but you don't get what happened with FDR. And just what FDR sat in office for 4 terms, was it?
3.
3, I'm sorry.
He's the reason why they put the amendment in place where you can only do 2 consecutive terms.
He's also the reason why we don't why we see fatherless black homes too.
And he put the New Deal in place.
Exactly, that New Deal. Everyone gets paid money if daddy doesn't live with mommy.
Yeah.
I don't know why it affected the black community so much more than the others, but it did. Oh, this is interesting, Brian. What's up? Okay, George Soros is dead, right? Like
His son's running the organization now.
Yes.
Okay.
And they're still funding groups. They're still funding elections all around the world, around the country mainly, to get their progressive people in power in places that will make changes. That's why they focused on district attorneys back in the day, because they had the control to decide who went to court and who got charged and all that.
Yeah, and these people don't have to go to prison, and those people do, right?
Yeah. But now they spent billions of dollars on this redistricting fight in Virginia.
Oh, well, are they the ones who came up with the ambiguous phrasing?
No, I don't think they did, but they ran a bazillion ads.
Well, they were the ones that were
of it.
They
paid the Obamas to get involved with it. You know, they paid all these Democrat leaders to say, "Oh no," and they try to make it more confusing as possible for the voter, saying both sides were saying the same thing on all their campaign ads. But if you were watching Virginia TV for the last 6 months, you saw probably 10 times more yes ads than you saw no ads, because the Soros organizations were funding those ads. And they've got plenty of money just to throw away.
That's what I was wondering. Did they pay the Obamas, or did the Obamas do it because for their party, and the Soros money just published it more often? And billions of dollars seems fucking nuts. Didn't we just can one of these DHS people or someone get in trouble for the DHS spending like $3 million, something like that, with a commercial?
Yeah, she lost her job. She's now a czar.
She's a czar. I still don't
Mhm.
understand why we use czars. That seems fucking crazy to me. Why we use that term?
Well, okay.
There's so many
Trump
other words
doesn't
we could
use
use.
czar. I use czar.
Obama called everyone something czar. I was like, what the fuck?
She's the special assistant to the president for the Homeland Protection System that we're creating.
Is that gnome?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, but czar, man. It's like depending on where you get the term from, it all goes back to Caesar and an emperor.
Well, when I think of czar, I think of Russia.
Well, that's TSAR, but that comes from CZAR, czar, which comes from Caesar.
Okay.
I think it's Kamala. I think Kamala on the border.
The Kamala on the border.
Yeah, she was called the border czar.
Oh, yeah, exactly. The border czar. I'm like, why would we use that word? Like, why can't we call him like consultant or overseer or you know what I mean? Give him any other term than a life term dictatorship. You know what I mean?
The one thing I laughed at about that Virginia, the redistricting in bloody Virginia, they had it down where it was. Oh, you're talking about now, or are you going to talk about later?
We're just getting into that with the Soros money that funded the commercials for it.
Yeah, but this is what I'm talking about. Part of it is when they're going on about it and they're saying, now this is wrong. It's not right. We've got to correct it and all that sort of stuff. But then we'll go back to it in 2030. That's you know what I mean?
Yeah,
right. Yeah, because Virginia's got a weird system in place. It's not the controlling party that creates the districts. It was a
third party
that did it. You know, it's supposed to be independent.
It's like honestly, it's like the fairest map I've ever seen for districting in this country. The way Virginia,
well,
6-5 wasn't it?
And you know,
it's 6.5. It's like 54% and like 46% or something.
And this thing won by 14,000 votes. So
exactly 14,000. Did you notice that?
Yes, it's amazing.
As if someone just typed in 14,000 because someone said, I don't know, I had like 14K, and they didn't think to make it a freaking random 14,000 number, like 14,112. You know what I mean? I was like, you tell me exactly. Yeah. Well, one county. Okay, check this out. I think all counties had all the votes counted within an hour of the polls ending, except for one county that hadn't had a single vote counted yet.
And magically, they're the ones that pushed it over the top.
Oh, big with 14,000 votes. Exactly.
And not one no vote in there. Not one no vote.
Yeah, not one over, not two under.
Well, the one court judge has blocked the certification, which is going to get overturned.
24 hours. I love it.
But this guy was trying to block the vote. He was trying to even block the election, the whole process.
The vote from happening because it wasn't done properly.
Right, because they
has to pass something in 90 days.
They did it during a special session, and according to the law, the way it's written, it has to be 2 consecutive actual legislation sections, not a special session.
Then you have to wait 90 days to hold the vote too.
And so now we're waiting on the Supreme Court to rule on the case in Virginia, see what they say. It could get all thrown out. It could not. You know, it's hard to say.
It's got to get thrown out. It's unconstitutional, isn't it?
Well,
you would think.
It is under Virginia's constitution, yes. And here's the thing: is a lot of people I've already heard people saying this is going to go up to the federal Supreme Court, and I'm like, no, it's not.
No,
it won't get past the Virginia Supreme Court.
They won't even hear it. Courts won't touch it because it's a states' rights issue. The states get to decide this thing.
States get to decide how they vote. Them violating their own laws is not the federal
not a federal problem
purview. Yeah, it's not a federal problem. Exactly. But I mean, they misled people on what your vote meant because they made it sound like they were going to
Did you
stop
see the
gerrymandering.
actual? I mean, I
I
had to
saw the
read-
map.
Well, that and I went and voted before I moved to Michigan. I'm still technically a Virginia resident. I have not switched my residency yet. But that I had to read through that ballot question like 5 times, even though I knew which way to vote. But it was so ambiguous the way they wrote it that the average person that doesn't follow politics wouldn't have a clue what to vote for.
Well, they would
Oh,
think that you're going to stop gerrymandering by voting yes.
Yeah,
Well,
but that's what we're doing, gerrymandering.
A fair process, but then we're going back to the way it was. You know what I mean? That's what I was saying. It was all bloody misleading. Every part of that was misleading.
Oh yeah, oh, that's actually one of the things the judge brought up. And a CNN analyst even said that. He's like, they clearly misled the people on what they were voting for. He goes, that has a chance in court. A chance. He goes, the real thing is that they broke all of their own laws, and their Supreme Court is going to have to acknowledge that they didn't do it the proper way.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's still a long shot.
I don't know.
I don't hold out a whole lot of hope for the Virginia State Supreme Court.
I have no idea what Virginia Supreme Court looks like, honestly. Not even a guess, but it's tough to just flat out ignore all of the rules. You know what I mean? But because I mean that's what the court's there is for, is to stop everyone else from just ignoring the rules and do what they want. Just like what happened with COVID, with the lockdowns. They shut down churches. You are not allowed to shut down a church ever for any reason unless there's like a bomb in there or a gunman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's the same thing in Australia, but yeah, you can't shut down churches at all. The government has no authority over the church.
No. That's when COVID came in, mate. There was a lot of uproar. It's still going on.
So there's a couple people in Congress that have pointed out some history that has been forgotten in the past, that basically there was a good section of Northern Virginia that was originally part of the District of Columbia.
Yeah, DC used to be a square.
And part of it was given back to Virginia by Abraham Lincoln, and they don't think it was done properly.
Well, what's interesting
they're recommending that Trump create an executive order giving this land back to the District of Columbia. These people that in the Northern Virginia area align better with the district anyway, and this will create a court fight that could make Virginia an actually more equitable state for the rest of the population.
And wouldn't that put the National Cemetery back in DC?
Yes,
because right now it's Arlington, Virginia, right?
Right.
Where we bury our most honored vets, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Hey, repeat offender, when you were in the States, did you get a chance to get to DC at all?
No, mate, I didn't. That's one thing I wanted to do.
I know it's you're like, oh yeah, well we'll go there, we'll drive over there, and then you realize that the United States is fucking huge like Australia. You can't just drive from Texas to DC, you know.
I've got a few mates who've been driven over in America, mate. But yeah, no, we were just on time because we had to go around the world. But just speaking while you're talking about Arlington and that, just you guys might know, but today's Anzac Day here in Australia. It's our Memorial Day.
Oh, really?
So
I'm familiar with the holiday. I didn't realize that was today.
Yeah, we actually got the Anzac Parade, like all our armed forces are actually parading down Sydney, all major capitals. But yeah, it's one of the days that we hold sacred here. It's just as sacred as bloody birth of Christ.
Oh, wow.
Maybe even more, mate. Maybe even more.
I'm thinking they're looking for nominations for my hometown's Memorial Day parade. I'm putting myself in.
Mate, why not?
As the Grand Marshal.
Is that anything like the Grand Wizard?
No, nothing like the Grand Wizard. I'm gonna ride in a car waving at people. If they accept me.
See if you get some funny before SPLC break down, mate.
Hey, you should play the prodigal son angle, dude. Be like, I left to join the service. I spent some time exploring. Yep. I'm back. Let me run this and do this for you. I have the wisdom and the experience.
Getting smacked all over the world free of charge. Getting drunk in every different way.
Did everyone get the prodigal son reference?
Yeah.
Okay, because I bet you most Christians wouldn't recognize that, let alone anyone who's not Christian.
Go and play up and come home and repent.
Yeah, that was Old Testament, wasn't it?
No, it's New Testament.
Is it New Testament?
Yeah.
Okay, so the
And
Jews wouldn't know
now
it either.
the GOP is trying to get Florida to do some redistricting.
Why?
Florida, the only state that can do it now before the midterms.
Well, that's the thing is each state has their own rules on how they do it.
And
And
it's hilarious. I'm looking at all these Facebook posts on how Virginia only did it because Texas started it, and the same people say, "Well, Texas has got their own rules. We made them up to change it to do what we did." You know?
yeah, you guys have a process, and you know what? I don't think it was necessarily a great idea, but I heard a lot of people saying what Texas is doing is illegal, and I was like, how is it illegal? And they're like, well, it's supposed to be every 10 years. It's like, that's when most states do it, is after the census. There's nothing in the federal law that says a state can't redistrict every year if they want to. It depends
Right.
on what
It's
the
not a
state's.
federal thing, it's a state thing.
It's a state thing. And Virginia's rules said this is how we do it. And they said, fuck all that. We're going to do it anyway.
It comes down to your state's legislators, doesn't it? What's already down in their
And
constitution.
I thought gerrymandering was illegal by the Supreme Court, but apparently not, because all the northeastern states have already done it, and
Yeah, but how
nobody
do you
cares
define-
about that.
How
I'm
can
waiting
you
for
prove
California to
gerrymandering?
do it some more, you know?
Well, imagine
Oh.
if you split California in half, east and west. Imagine how many of the
Or
Republicans
north and
pick up.
south.
Yeah, California West. Imagine how many seats the Republicans would pick up.
Mm. Yeah, and
You probably pick
that's
up
why I
another
keep
6 or 7 seats.
Massachusetts threatened to do this, and I was like, I hope you do. I was like, I hope
We'll
you
get
do.
more Republican seats.
Yeah, I was like, you have a 40% or 48% Republican vote in Massachusetts and don't have a single representative. You might accidentally get a Republican congressman if you redistrict, you know?
That's the hardest thing to grasp, like somebody like me trying to grasp. Like, just say you got a state, for example, like Virginia. It's close, like it's 51-49 Democrat Republican, you know what I mean?
It is very close, yes.
Then you only get, like, the Republicans will only get 1 seat in Congress. Like, how does that work in the Republicans?
With this new
the
map, they would
Democrats
only get one. Well, here's the thing: is they had 5 districts going into Alexandria that split out and went out into the conservative areas. So the dense population of the big city would overwhelm all of the veterans in the Hampton Roads, Norfolk area. It would wipe out the
Basically,
farmers
now
near the
only-
mountains.
Yeah, only place that's a Republican represented now is the western part of the
I was gonna say,
the
right
state
next to
near
West Virginia. Yep.
So you make all the Republican counties one seat. So is that every district?
And here's what's even crazier is West Virginia has offered to take these counties into West Virginia from Virginia. All these people have to do is vote. And could you imagine that? Watch Virginia go from 50-50 to all blue. That would be wild to watch that happen.
So down in Florida, for example, right now, they got the right redistrict. That means they can wipe out all Democratic seats, can't they?
Oh, here's what you do. You want to know how you do it?
Five Republicans.
Trump could make this happen. And check that. I'll show you exactly how. Cuba's ours now. Add it into Florida and I don't want to hear that landmass has to be connected. One, there's Hawaii, there's the Aleutian Islands, all the islands on the coast. Michigan is split into 2 pieces. Isn't one of the lakes separate a piece of Michigan from the rest of Michigan?
Yeah, there's a
Alaska.
bridge.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. The Aleutian Islands. Well, that's just I'm referring to separate land masses versus states touching each other. But yeah, they could add it. Cuba into Florida, add all that population and redistrict, and boom. And let's be real, how many Cubans are going to vote for socialism?
Not very many.
No, they build rafts out of car tires to float to Florida to get away from it, you know?
Yeah.
Build a bridge.
And you know what? The Cubans that escaped, those are the folks I am more than happy to give asylum to. We actually are the closest safe port, and they are being oppressed by their government. I like the wet feet, dry feet policy. And actually, to the point, I would even go as far as say, even if you show up still wet from swimming 90 miles, you get to stay. We'll give you asylum.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't just drive across the border because you have better economic opportunities, or you can live off the United States government. That really pisses me off.
Right.
Like, you guys want free health care, but you're giving it to the illegal immigrants instead of yourself. You know? This is California's got a $2 billion budget issue, like an accounting error.
It's been hidden. It's been hidden for months.
And yeah, they Newsom knew about it, I guess. But what does this mean? Is they have $2 billion more than they thought, or less than they thought, or they spent $2 billion and they don't know where it went?
Of course not. It's always to the negative.
So they spent $2 billion. They have no idea where it went.
Right.
But but California is also passing a law that makes it illegal to ask why.
Yeah, because they don't want. We talked about that in the last show. You know,
Yeah, it's
that you
illegal
can't
to
do investigations.
You can't investigate fraud. It's like, what? Like, oh, by the way, we lost $2 billion. What?
Can't investigate it.
Another certified accountant from the Leering Center.
No, but this just all I could think of was when they said you can't investigate fraud. All I could think of was 1950 Chicago with like the mob running the government. Oh my God. It's like, no, you can't look at our book, see? You know?
Nothing to see here.
Oh my goodness. And what's okay, some DHS official, cute girl, I guess.
Yeah. Poor guy.
I doubt that's a woman.
There was a sugar daddy relationship.
Oh, sugar daddy, yes. I'm saying this
I think the DHS person
Julia,
was the daddy.
Yeah, Julia yeah, she's 29. She received Julia Varvaro,
$40K in gifts in a 3-month relationship
using a dating app. So what?
There was illicit drug use.
Okay.
You're a government official. I don't think you're still allowed to do drugs as a government official.
They found cocaine in the White House.
That's alleged cocaine.
No, not alleged cocaine. It was real cocaine. They just don't know where it
may
came
or
from.
may not have existed. There's no proof that it actually existed.
You had guys record.
It's all been snorted.
There were two dudes who recorded themselves butt fucking on the Senate floor. Okay?
Yep.
You're gonna tell me that having a sugar daddy's a problem? I'm sorry. It
depends on the administration, because a conservative administration might have a problem with that. But Biden administration may not. I believe that those two dudes were part of the Biden administration.
Well, they were Democrat aides that worked under the senators, and they really worked under them. I just can't believe they got released, and everyone's like, "Yeah, so what? It happens." Like, oh, it doesn't happen. Do this kind of stuff. Are you kidding me? But yeah, the big deal is she did some drugs. She got $40,000 in a couple months. The only real issue I would have with this is if it's swaying her decisions in the government. As if she's being paid off to do certain things. Other than that, I don't give a fuck if she bilked some dumbass out of some wealthy, 100 millionaire out of a couple $1,000 because she keeps offering pussy that he's never gonna get.
He may get it though.
Maybe, probably already did. But yeah, scroll down. She's not an ugly woman. The picture of her in front of the flag.
It's the oldest profession. It happened since Adam and Eve.
Yeah, isn't the first name mentioned in the Bible a prostitute?
Probably Eve.
No, not in Genesis. New Testament.
Mary. Mary.
There's Mary Magdalene. I think Rebecca, spelled a K and an H, was a prostitute.
Well,
Oh my
we
God!
found
Why
out
is
what
this
Mary
fucking-
Povich is doing since he got rid of his "Who's the Baby Daddy" show.
It's funny is I saw Maury Povich is still doing shit.
He's got a podcast.
Doesn't. Right? But then it was Joy Rita's like, oh my God, Joy Rita's on Maury Povich. No fucking way. I was like,
I couldn't resist.
Brian's trying to make my head explode in rage.
I am.
Do not play politics the way Republicans do. The difference between the parties,
Joy.
they do not. They do not.
Please.
Democrats play by the Marquis de Queensberry rules. I think they do not. They're not rule breakers.
You're trying to tell me
they're not.
if the Democrats take the Senate
I
in
would hope they would.
2027,
I hope.
in 2027, and Alito retires, and Trump names a Supreme Court justice, that the Democrats are going to have hearings and actually confirm him
I think they would.
or her?
Because they don't
Not
do.
a chance.
I don't think.
The Democrats are already talking about packing the courts. Well, did you hear Carville? He's like, don't even tell anyone. Just pack the courts and change all the rules and make it so the Republicans can never win again. And I was like, wow, that's exactly what Spanberger's trying to do.
But he raised the bullshit flag with her. Is like, he didn't go very deep into it in that.
I know, but I love it. He's like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Those comments she's making, you don't have to go deep into it. She writes her own a joke. But the thing is, I don't know why the Republicans now get rid of this stupid filibuster, Save America Act, get that into law. Mate, I can't see Democrats winning many bloody
we already
elections
talked
after
about the
what?
Save Act. We already talked about the Save Act and how it
No,
fell apart.
no.
And I know
we couldn't even get enough Republicans to put it into a budget reconciliation thing that didn't need any support from Democrats to get approved.
It doesn't even matter. The point is they intentionally not passing this stuff so that they have something to campaign on next time. As much as I think the Republicans are more sane than the Democrats, they're still fucking politicians. Okay? They may as well be a nonprofit organization because, like, the SPLC, if they actually eliminate hatred in this country, they have to go out of business. That's why they have to go find it and manufacture it to be able to stay in business.
That's what you see the difference. MAGA hasn't really taken over the Republican Party, has it?
Only while it was popular with the moderate voter and your disaffected liberal. Look at how many people are jumping ship already. Look at Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson and all these other guys jumping ship because they see the MAGA ship going down, and they have to come out first.
I don't even know if the MAGA ship's going down, but I mean, there is no MAGA replacement to Trump. There's no replacement to Trump.
There is not. He's a very unique character.
You love him or you hate him.
I think he's freaking hilarious.
I do too.
I love him.
That's my favorite part of it. Is he's funny. Like, I love how he started finishing everything with "Thank you for your attention in this matter." I love it. It's like everything he writes now ends with "Thank you for your attention to this matter." I'm like, oh my God, I love this. It's hilarious.
But Gavin Newsom tried to use it.
And you called women fat, ugly pigs. Only Rosie O'Donnell. Come on.
Thank you for attention in this matter.
I slapped so hard when he said only Rosie O'Donnell. I was like, oh my God.
Did you hear the one he did about Iran? When he bombed Iran? He goes, I'm doing so well in Iran. He says, I'm picking up their employment levels now. We're allowed to get new leaders.
Yeah.
Oh. I'm breaking new records for him over there.
All right. Wait,
and we're moving on to Maine.
Oh my God, this Plattner guy! I still can't believe
he's a Marine.
The Nazi
he's
tattoo
not
on his...
elected yet. He's not elected. He's a candidate, underdog candidate in Maine.
I thought, okay, he got the nomination. I'm sorry.
He got the socialist nomination.
He's not running the socialist ticket though. He's running as a Democrat, right?
Right.
Yeah, I still can't believe that they picked him out of all their possible candidates with a freaking Nazi Totemkampf tattoo on his chest. And the guy was like, oh, I didn't realize that's what it was. You think in 20 years you would have found out what that tattoo was and removed it. I would have, we mentioned this before, I would have accepted it better had he said, well, I went out to port with my boys and we got really fucking drunk and I came home with a stupid tattoo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure you remember this conversation, Brian. It's like, because I
He's
went out
going
and
to
got,
run against Susan Collins,
I know
the
that name.
rhino of all rhinos. She's
Uh,
she's one of those Republicans that vote against everything that Trump wants.
well, if that's what Maine wants. That's what Maine wants. I can respect that if she's representing her constituents. You know what I mean?
I don't know that she is.
I don't know either, but Maine is New England, and New England is very anti-Trump. If Trump told everyone to take a deep breath, they
Well,
would
this
hold their
guy
hold
said
their breath
that
until they passed
if he
out.
gets elected, he's going to call to investigate Trump and impeach 2 Supreme Court justices. When was the last
What?
time an actual Supreme Court justice was impeached?
I don't know if it's ever happened, honestly. I have no idea. But they were talking about impeaching Boasberg, and wasn't that when Roberts was like, hold on, let's take a step back. It takes a lot to impeach a judge. This guy wants to impeach
Takes a lot to impeach anybody. 2/3 of the Senate have to vote for the impeachment
of a federal judge.
Yeah, or
Is
president.
Is that any? Okay, so that's anyone they want to.
Yeah.
And a vote for impeachment just means that okay, now a trial will begin, right?
Right.
Okay, because that's something a lot of people don't realize. They hear impeachment and they think that means you're out of office.
Yep.
Clinton was impeached, wasn't he?
Yep.
And
over lying to contempt of Congress. He lied to Congress. And the Monica Lewinsky thing, he said he never had sex with her in the Oval Office.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman. And I remember I actually brought this up to the wife years ago.
And then she saved the blue dress.
Yeah. Let me save the president's cum stain, right? Yeah, come on.
It might be worth something someday.
That's the thing, it might. But I remember talking to the wife about this. I was like, I don't know. He's the president of the United States. He wants to get a side piece. That's between him and his wife. And she was like, no, I get that. Like, but the fact that it was in the Oval Office pisses me off.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, I'll give you that one. I don't know. I don't know who else was impeached before that, honestly. In my lifetime anyway.
Let me look it up.
I remember hearing that Nixon was going to be impeached and he resigned from office to avoid the impeachment. And I remember this specifically that we talked about it on this show, how Nixon was going to be impeached for wiretapping a single phone in a single hotel. And then Obama went and wiretapped everyone's phone in the entire country.
It's not that many presidents that have actually been impeached. Andrew Jackson.
Really? Does it say
Bill
why?
Clinton. Yeah, he was impeached over violations of the Tenure of Office Act and conflicts with Congress after the Civil War. Of course, he was acquitted by the Senate by just one vote.
Wow. Okay.
Bill Clinton impeached for perjury, acquitted by the Senate. Donald Trump, 2019 and 2021, acquitted by both times in the Senate. And Richard Nixon, not formally impeached. So you can see
exactly. He was never actually impeached. So really, there's been 3 presidents.
Yeah.
So Trump has 50% of the impeachments in U.S. history.
Thanks to Nancy Pelosi.
No, that's awesome. I want to make sure I remember this stat to bring up to everyone. Be like, you hate Trump so much that he's been impeached half as many times as the entire fucking country has.
Back-to-back impeachment champion.
Yeah, back-to-back impeachment champs. Yep. Oh my goodness. And don't get me wrong, I don't think Trump's necessarily the greatest president, but we're in a situation that's unusual. And fuck. Everyone keeps saying Trump is like, oh, he ran no new wars. And yes, it was a big deal. And his first term, that's exactly what happened. But he also got into politics over Iran and a nuclear weapon. This is when he became vocal against Obama and his Iran deal, right?
Yeah, where they sent pallets of cash to Iran.
I know,
This-
literal pallets of cash.
Yeah, this isn't a new war, but this has been going on for 47 years.
Yes, but not active conflict. And that's the thing is Trump actually had the balls to do it.
But you
He's an
guys are
old
still
man who can't run for office again. He has no ambitions for more political anything. He's probably going to work until he dies because that's just the kind of person he is. You don't become a billionaire without being a workaholic.
Well, aren't you guys still unofficially at war with Korea too, North Korea?
No.
Everybody is because there is no declaration of peace. It's only like
No, but we were never at war with Korea.
oh, okay.
No, officially we weren't. The last time the United States was at war was World War II.
Yeah.
Now,
Brian, there's been no declaration of peace.
but there's no declaration of war.
I know what you're saying.
They were police actions.
Yeah.
I know, and that's the thing is Congress went all nuts over Trump doing this Iran thing. Like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, shut the fuck up. You guys abdicated all of your authority when it comes to all of this shit decades ago.
Yep.
Yeah, he's only following the Constitution.
Oh, yeah, and they're like, oh, yeah, the president can just basically wage war for like a month before Congress has to step in. It's like,
well,
what the fuck,
Well, that's why he's saying all the press conferences, I'm in no rush, because he's not actually firing on bloody Iran at the moment. He's still got how many days left before he can,
Yeah, I know, but yeah, that's what drives me nuts. These folks have no idea what they're talking about. They
and
hear
I don't
something
think the
quoted.
War Powers Act actually apply to this because I just looked it up. The president must notify Congress within 48 hours of deploying troops into combat or imminent hostilities. Troops can remain up to 60 days without congressional approval. And then there's an additional 30-day withdrawal period. We have not put troops on the ground in Iran.
I was going to say, that's the 90 days I was talking about. But exactly, Brian, troops was the key word there. There's no troops in Iran. Nothing says he can't just blow them the fuck up from the sky.
Didn't you actually move bases away from Iran?
We've evacuated all our dependents from all the bases in Iran, like Bahrain. It's only essential person only in Bahrain right now.
And Qatar, isn't it too?
Yep, Qatar is only essential person only.
Qatar got hit hard with liquid natural gas fields.
So did Bahrain.
Yep.
Well, yeah. Which
that was the worst mistake Iran could have done.
This is terrible because these are our allies and our friends. But that goes back to what I was talking about. Look at the pieces on the chessboard. Every major oil producer is on the side of the United States or cut off from the world at this point. The United States is selling more oil now than it has since World War II.
We got tankers coming to the U.S. to get oil to take overseas.
Typically, next month, there's only 4 super tankers that come in.
We talked about this on the last show. I remember.
Yeah. Now it's over 7 times as many already scheduled because there's you can't get the oil from Iran, and the oil in Venezuela is controlled by the United States too.
Well, we're now buying from you guys even more. We've got
that's exactly.
Well, you said you were going to run out of oil soon, didn't you?
Yep, we were down to 20-something days. It's supposed to be 90 days, like you guys know. Every country should be at 90. We were down to 30. We've been at 30 for a long time. It went down to 22 days.
And now you're going, oops.
now we're up to 40. No, we've got enough oil here. We can produce. We've got 2 refineries.
You could tap it. Yeah. You could tap the oil, but Australia won't.
No, it's because the Greenies are in charge with the Labor Party.
Yep.
That's what's happened.
There's no oil in Australia.
There's heaps of oil down off that.
That's what gets me though, is they say stuff like we won't drill for it. We'll just buy it from someone else. It's like it's the same fucking difference. It just costs you more money now.
Mate, we're one of the leading producers of bloody uranium. We could have bloody nuclear factories everywhere powering Australia, costing us nothing.
You guys,
freak out when nuclear power carrier shows up.
Yeah, and New Zealand.
Look what it did to the New Zealand is already out of oil, aren't they?
Yeah, pretty close. Pretty close to it.
They're all electric.
Yeah, Yes, I love that argument.
And wind
too.
power.
I love that. It's like, so how
They've
you
got windmills on the top of all their cars to get them around.
actually, you know what's funny is I watched a YouTube video of a guy who built exactly that, and I was like, this won't work. And
But it did.
a bunch of the comments were like, oh, this should totally work. You know, I was like, no, law of conservation of energy. You can't get free energy. You can't drive a car to spin a windmill to drive the car. It's you know, too much energy gets lost.
Get oil to make rubber bands, mate. And bloody whack them on, strain them up.
Well, just like I saw a picture once of a guy who had his cell phone's flashlight on a solar battery. He had the flashlight pointed at the solar cells with his phone plugged into the battery, and I was like, "That's not gonna work, dude. You're just draining them both slowly now."
You've got to give him bloody.
Common sense has gone out the window.
Yeah, it's not as common as they say, is it?
And that's the thing, is that this is stuff people should have learned in school. There's no such thing as free energy. You can collect wind energy, but it's not free. Something has to happen for the wind to happen. That's a change in pressure. And I don't know, because I can't possibly foresee. But if we go and try to harvest all of the wind on the planet, are we going to stop wind, therefore severely affecting weather? I don't know. Because, I mean, if we want to go into theoretical of what we could do, we could run all of the world's copper in basically ley lines from north to south, and you'd be able to plug in any electric device into the dirt, and it would work. Because of the magnetism of the planet would electrify the cables. But if we did that, we might stop all seismic activity or set it on overdrive and get volcanoes going everywhere because we're fucking with the magnetic field. Theories are great, but you have to think about what might happen if you do this shit. You know what I mean?
You're still going to have to pay guys to go up a ladder, mate, and cake up a couple of bloody oil cans and make sure those cylinders turn around still, and the bloody the blades and that still turn around. That they don't seize up. You've got to get oil from the ground to do that.
Well, just like Greta Thunberg. What a piece of
why are we
shit
so popular? Why is she so popular on the show?
She's such a piece of shit. And, you know, I want to call her a fucking moron, but apparently I'm not allowed to because she's autistic. But stupid and autistic are not the same thing. I don't know why they're put in the same category.
As long as you don't call her a fucking autistic moron, you could call her a fucking moron, mate.
Well, no, that's what I said. I want to just call her an idiot.
Is she still being put up to all these things by her parents, or is she on her own now?
Well, she sailed the fucking boat across the Atlantic. It was a carbon fiber boat, which means you had to mine coal to get this motherfucker made, right? And then there were a bunch of diesel ships around her, making sure that she made it safely. I'm like, she has a bigger carbon footprint than I do, and I drive a 5.7 liter Hemi engine. You know what I mean?
Do you guys realise there's a flotilla of 70 boats about to leave Italy to go to Gaza? They've now got a flotilla of 70 boats.
Is Israel
never going to get there?
Is Israel still stopping that?
Yeah,
mate.
I don't know. I just haven't heard anything going on with the whole Palestine thing in a while, honestly.
It was on the news the other day. They got a couple of people from Australia's gone over there. I'm going, you fucking dickheads. The war stopped. Trump's already got plans to put in bloody palaces there now. Bloody hotels.
Trump Tower, baby. Trump Tower in
Trump Tower in the Gaza. Free Palestine with a Trump Tower.
Isn't that what Donald Trump Jr. is working on?
Mara Gaza, all right?
Someone's got to rebuild.
Yeah, got to build it back.
Got to build back. Build back better.
Hegseth. Now you're allowed to have a personal firearm on base. Well, we talked about it last week, right?
Yeah, or the week before.
Yeah, or maybe the week before. And yeah, right. Guapo was here for that. And now they're abolishing the mandatory flu vaccine.
Yep.
They should.
I've gotten one flu shot since I retired from the Navy in 2007.
I have
And-
not had a single flu shot since I
And
got
guess
out.
how many times I've gotten the flu since I retired in 2007?
Probably
When you
zero.
got shot, when you got the shot.
Zero.
I mean, influenza, don't get me wrong, it can be pretty nasty. But usually, let's be real, it is typically only fatal to like infants and the very elderly, right?
So I'm getting elderly, so I guess I got to start my flu shots back up again.
Well, the problem with the flu shot is they literally make a bunch of different vaccines and then they guess which strain of the flu is going to be prevalent this year. And they give you a shot of what they guess.
I think they put it on a dartboard, don't they?
Yeah. No, it's on a dartboard and they use a big blowgun like they're freaking
Yeah.
Aborigines, you know?
Exactly.
But
You don't
they
want to
show
talk about the
lots of
CIA
old-
agents in Mexico?
Yeah, this was interesting. Apparently,
They
we
did
were
not.
before-
I mean, the article I read originally did not say anything about him being CIA, but when
said
they
government
said they were
officials.
in Mexico involved in shit, I'm like, that's CIA. There's no
And-
questions.
And what's her? Oh, geez, her name's in here too. Scheinbaum, is it? The president of Mexico.
Oh, it's,
Yeah, I
yeah, I
think
think
so.
that's that would see.
Hold on, let me open the article because I've been trying to remember her name for a while. Because I remember it's like they have a white Jewish woman as president of Mexico.
Yeah, Scheinbaum. Yeah,
Claudia
Scheinbaum.
Scheinbaum.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was like, a white Jewish woman is the president of Mexico. I just thought that was hilarious. But she says like we didn't know anything about this.
Right.
And she made a big deal saying if any foreign nation wants to do any kind of operations in our nation,
We need to know about it.
aware. At least be aware of it. And that sounds like CIA then, doesn't
But
it?
and then this article did say that they did work for the CIA in counter narcotic operations. But in the first article I read, they made it it was very vague, but
Spooks.
being politically involved, and since I joined the Navy in 1987, I can read between the lines.
Yeah, I know what those words mean. Exactly. I read an article similar. It might have been the same one. They called them government officials and this anti-narco operations. Like, okay, this is CIA. And then they're like, oh, Mexico didn't know anything about it. Definitely CIA.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they got killed or they died in a car accident.
Yeah.
How
I
much
doubt
of it do you
that
think was?
highly.
You think it was an accident?
No, I don't think it was an accident. Not at all.
And here's the thing: was it the cartels that did it, or was this were they labeled red, retired, extremely dead, like like a burn notice kind of thing?
Yeah.
Like, was it we sent you on this mission so we can kill you because you know too much shit?
I would put my
And
money
make
on
it
the
look
car. I would like to think it's cartels over that, but I don't know.
I trust the CIA about as far as I could throw them, which is not very far.
Well, George Bush was in charge of the CIA back in the day.
Senior.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no new
senior.
taxes. And then first thing he did, raise taxes.
And that's why he didn't get reelected.
Oh, it's funny because this was before I was voting age, but I remember my mother going, but he said no new taxes. My father goes, yeah, but he's a Republican. He just raised the old taxes. And I was like, oh, okay.
No, it had nothing to do with him being a Republican. It had to
Right.
deal with the fact that he trusted
There was
the
no
people
money.
that told him to do no new taxes. That he trusted people saying, "Oh, this won't affect your political career," but they lied.
Yeah.
Yeah, he pulled a
The
Jimmy
only one-
Carter, which I
The only
thought
one
was gonna. What I thought was gonna happen to
Yeah.
Trump. Honestly, I didn't think he was gonna come back and do 2 non-consecutive terms.
I
I
think
still
it's
don't think
awesome.
this gets. I still don't think this gets enough credit. He's only
Only
the
one other
second US
president's done it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only Grover Cleveland has ever done this before.
And I think he's learned a lot in the 4 years he was off. He's
especially-
definitely a totally different president this 4 years than he was the first 4 years.
Oh, he didn't
Right.
hire back John Bolton for one. That's a good one, right?
Mm-hmm.
He learned a lot. Honestly, he did. Like that's first term or the first term he got in, mate, he was fighting everyone. Like he went in blindfold. He didn't really know what he was doing.
No,
Well,
he didn't.
He thought he could do it like it was a business, which we should be
Yeah.
able to do it that way.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people voted for him for the first term, was because he was talked about being like a businessman and running the government like a business. He tried hard, but
the
failed.
government wouldn't let it happen.
No, the deep state would not let it happen.
Yeah, well, the problem is they say he never drained the swamp, but I think he did. The problem
Drained it a
is
lot.
no, the swamp creatures are still there. That's the issue. Now we know who they are and where they are. But no one seems to care. It's like now we know who the swamp monsters are.
I think he turned the light on so people they could show themselves in the true light. They're coming out. They're showing themselves. They're revealing who they are.
Yeah.
Oh, just like the whole USAID thing. People were losing their minds over this. And I was like, why are we paying to have friggin' gay Sesame Street in Iran?
Pakistan.
Okay, I'm sorry, Pakistan's like,
I don't remember.
Why?
It was an Islam country, and that's gonna be frowned upon in an Islam country.
And I'm not even saying, oh, gays. No, like actual like homosexual Sesame Street. And I was like, why am I paying for this? You know what I mean? Like this, if it was just Sesame Street in Arabic, right, I might go for that. Honestly, I might at least not complain. But it's like, no, be gay. It's like, what the fuck? It's like, you know that these people just kill homosexuals. Iran claims to have 0 homosexuals in their entire country.
Yeah, they don't.
Oh,
They kill them.
Though I still think, I keep meaning to look this up, but I'm pretty sure Iran forces a sex transition surgery for homosexuality. So now you're a woman and no longer gay.
Okay.
But you look at, what was it, $200 million for one African
Iraq.
country for circumcisions or something, wasn't it? They
So
wasted
maybe.
guys wasted.
Well, it depends on where you're going with to do this circumcision funding, honestly. If you're in a first world country, there's no need to fund this at all, any reason, period. Second world country, even. Well, first world countries can afford it themselves. Second world countries, they have antibacterial soap. You don't need to do this. If you're going into like Somalia, maybe because you're less likely to get a weird infection. But all you need is an antibacterial soap. And you won't get nasty infections in your foreskin.
The point I'm trying to make, mate, like if you guys really thought about how much money is getting spent, wasted, and used on fraud,
it's $1 billion. It's tons of money.
Koreans, I reckon.
And that's what Elon Musk tried to do in the government.
That's why everyone hates Elon Musk, because he tried to bring some of this to light and start cutting the spending. And everyone hated him for this. I'm like, why? Why do you want your tax money being wasted? It's like, why are we paying for fucking prawn to run on a treadmill?
Yeah.
Why are we paying to see how long a beagle can get eaten by mosquitoes before it dies? Like, that just sounds horrible. This sounds like Nazi experiments, like World War II Nazi experiments, when they would put a guy with his arm out in the frozen tundra of Russia and come back 6 hours later and hit it with a hammer and shatter it to see what happened.
Yeah. Like California shit itself after Minnesota got raided.
Well, especially with $2 billion missing.
Yeah, that's only a tip of the iceberg, I reckon.
That's why they went past the law saying you're not allowed to look into the fraud.
Yeah. Yeah, what does that tell you? Here's the swamp.
There's fraud. If you got to have a law not to look into fraud, that means there's fraud.
That means there's a lot of it and it's high up.
It means coming FBI.
Yeah. But the thing is, the federal government doesn't have a whole lot of authority to investigate California for misallocating California tax money.
No.
Can't the IRS
but they're misallocating federal funds. That's a whole different story.
That's different. That's different. And IRS, that's taxes. The Department of Treasury would get involved if they're spending federal tax dollars, which they certainly are. I mean, just like this whole the federal government was funding Planned Parenthood, but federal dollars can't go to abortion. It's like, yeah, but that just means that they can pay for they can make the abortions free because they're charging everyone else for the shit the federal government's already paying for. It's like, it's the same thing. If you give them any money, you're effectively helping everything they do. All right.
Don't you love how there's a whole new betting market out there now?
Poly market, and you know what? I meant to bring this up a couple times before, but a handful of people made a shit ton of money over actions the United States has taken.
Including this U.S. soldier who was using classified intel to win he won $410,000 on the Maduro raid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he may get
Yeah,
a dishonorable discharge, but he still got $400,000.
And Polymarket's illegal in the United States. He's either overseas or has a VPN. You and I cannot bet on Polymarket legally. And technically, Polymarket's not gambling. Technically, this is how they get away with all this shit they do.
Yeah, but if you're using classified information, then
insider trading. Because that's how Polymarket works. They're calling it like stocks. You're buying positions that go up and down, and you can sell your position to someone else as the value changes.
okay.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy shit. That's how they're getting away with it. So that makes this insider trading, and you're leaking classified information.
Yeah, that's the real problem.
That's might go to federal prison. Because what
Nothing worse.
You know, I still think it's hilarious that the Navy jail is the jail that everyone refers to when anyone goes to military prison.
Fort Leavenworth?
Mm-hmm.
It says Fort. That sounds Army to me.
That sounds Army, but I could have sworn Leavenworth was Navy. That's interesting because yeah, Armies are forts, Navy is stations.
Yeah.
Air Force is bases, Marines are camps, right?
Yeah.
Just a heads up to everyone who may listen to this show. They are different. Only the Air Force has bases. We may call it a Navy base, but it's not. It's a naval station.
Yep.
I'm certain this is news to the repeat offender over here.
No. We've got a similar thing with Australian Defence Forces too, mate.
I'm just saying they're not called base. That only the Air Force has bases in the United States. But anyway, check this out: Australia and Japan.
Yep, big news.
Have pulled their heads out of their asses and are gonna start building some fucking warships.
Who's building them, Australia or Japan?
I'm not sure, but they spent $7 billion worth of warships.
Japan's building them for Australia, I believe.
Yeah.
Are they really? I'm not surprised. The Japanese, because they didn't have a military so long, became very industrious to catch up. Well, once they realized in World War II, when they saw the technology the rest of the world had, they went, "Oh shit," you know. And now look at
to be fair, you're right, mate. No, to be fair, I think you got to look back, mate. It was probably about 4, maybe 5 years ago. We were talking about the AUKUS agreement between Australia, UK, and you guys. We're buying some of your subs from Great Britain and America.
Yeah,
we're not going to get those nuclear powered subs for another 10 years at least.
And they're going to be out of date by then.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yep,
exactly right. New class of submarine will be through by then.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to have a new shit. The boomers are Trident class, aren't they?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, because that was supposed to be the Trident attack, air, land, and sea. And yeah, that was how we launched nuclear missiles. Was the Trident theory? 3 ways to launch nuclear weapons.
We used to have so much shipbuilding companies around Australia. Newcastle, where I live, we had one here.
There's a lot of coastline,
but they got rid of them. They've all gone all overseas. Why would you?
It sounds like you guys are dealing with exactly what we were before Trump took office, and we're still dealing with, but it's getting better. All of our manufacturing jobs were going overseas to Chinese, to Indonesians, to Indians.
Yep.
And we could be making money on this ourselves. Instead, we're gonna have people that are just fucking getting stoned and demanding the government give them a paycheck. It's like, well, why don't they fucking go work at Northrop Grumman
They don't want
and build a warship? Oh, because you can't, because you have to have a clean drug test to work at Northrop Grumman.
No.
Is
And
that
I
a
only know,
possibility these days? How many
well, I
kids
know,
don't do drugs?
well, I know that as a fact though, because I applied at Northrop Grumman
You
and
failed.
no, I passed my drug test because I knew that they were going to ask for a drug test to build fucking warships. But I ended up turning down the job anyway because I knew that if I took a job building destroyers and aircraft carriers in Virginia, I'd be making decent money, like real decent money, and I would never ever leave Virginia. And I didn't want to be stuck there forever because I saw the tides turning back a decade ago, you know. So I moved to Massachusetts.
Makes total
Al-
sense.
Almost
The
got
tide
beer.
turned there 30. The tides turned there like 3 decades ago.
I know. That's actually when I signed up for the service. Not quite, but getting close to. But yeah, that was personal family issues. But yeah, I went and found same ideas while you're up there in Michigan.
Yeah.
But yeah, then I was like, all right, I had enough of this, done my job, found myself a nice little plot. Dude, check this out. Repeat offender, you might be interested in this. There's a plot of land about 30 minutes from my house for sale. It's like 18 3/4 acres or something along the river.
Okay.
So the river cuts right along the edge of it. Gets stocked with trout every year for a fishing tournament, but that doesn't mean you can't fish. Sell them for $17,500 US. That's less than
you're joking.
$1,000 an acre. Now there's electricity to the site, but there's no structures built. The land has not been cleared. You have to put in your own septic. But that sounds like something you would do to put in like a campground or something, or even just sit on it as an investment on an American property and wait until society moves in and fucking sell for 20 times as much.
Oh, mate, you make a campsite out of it. You're making an
There's a
investment
lot of campsites right around there. I
You
found
already
out.
looked it up.
Yeah.
You did the
And
research.
I was thinking about hunting there, but there's houses right along the edges of the property. And I was like, yeah, I don't need that liability either. But
I think you
know
still
what
do campsites there. You just undercut the other campsites around.
undercut them or set up an RV park.
Yeah.
We'll have to have a chat about your laws with foreign investment.
I didn't hear a word of that.
I said,
Foreign
well, I'd like to have
investment.
about foreign investment for me.
That was worse.
Oh, no. Direction. I said, I'd like to have foreign investment. We
His
just
internet sucks.
I'm on Elon Musk internet.
As you freaking glitch up and freeze. I love it.
It's been pretty good all night, and I've been watching my speeds. My speeds are worse than last week. I think it has to deal with we're doing this show at peak internet time, you know.
Yeah, good point.
Early evenings.
I got to get myself a beer and drain the lizard. But bring up this next topic until you talk about it. Try to be still talking about it when I come back. But I do not see this happening, but I totally understand why. I totally understand why they're bringing it up.
Yeah. So there's a Pentagon email floating around that is talking about floating the idea of suspending Spain from NATO over the whole Iran situation. But it wouldn't just be Spain that would be suspended. It'd be a whole bunch of countries in NATO because nobody wanted to help the U.S. with Iran. What do you think about that?
Mate, well, interesting you said, look at it as being Italy as well, because the Italian Prime Minister, President, what you want to call it, has passed a security bill.
Oh, your internet's horrible right now. Turn off your video. Try that.
It is, mate. Wait, hold on a sec. I'll turn this on, mate.
He's doing something with his internet because his whole comment back to me was like
underwater.
Gibberish. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Telling you.
Do you have a
Well, I can't
laptop?
now. I'll use this. I'll keep the count for mine on focus.
It comes and goes. It comes and goes.
I know.
I mean,
And it's
I was saying,
unfortunate.
I don't think it's not. He's gone. He's coming back.
Yeah, I got a feeling he's rebooting.
Oh,
something.
I had him turn off his video. Maybe that'll help.
That does tend to help because that's a lot of data that doesn't need to be sent.
Yeah.
Anyway, where did you get on this?
But I was. Go ahead.
I'm assuming you just basically read the headline.
Yep.
At that point,
and I was saying it shouldn't just be Spain that would be ejected from, suspended from NATO. There's most of the NATO countries shouldn't be in NATO because nobody helped us.
Correct. And that's a big issue because I think it was last week or the week before I brought up how a whole bunch of these countries were taking a victory lap over Iran.
Yeah.
And it's like, you guys told us to get the fuck out of your country. We couldn't use our base in your country to do this operation, which, by the way, I'm pretty sure United States Naval Station, even in Spain, is sovereign United States soil, isn't it?
No, it is not.
Is it their base or is it?
Yeah, it's their base that we use jointly. Rota, Spain is their base.
It's there. It's not ours. They just let us. Okay. Because I thought it was our station.
That's why you can't pee on the trees on base because they're the king's trees.
The king's trees. That's right. I remember when I found out Spain had a king, and I was like, really? And I was like, are you talking about like the king of like England? And like, no. This guy is actually like the ruler. I was like, fuck.
Is it any better, lads?
Yeah, well, that's much better.
That's much better.
Yeah. Well, you got to realise all of Europe had their own kingdoms and that too. But get back to what I was saying about Spain. Italy look like they're going to get the boot as well too because they haven't paid their defence money yet to NATO.
Oh, well, unlike Canada.
It's not even paid it to NATO. You don't pay it to NATO. You're supposed to invest it in your own defense so that everyone can fight.
Yeah, they haven't done it, mate. So Trump's pushing to get them out.
Well, let's be real. Who in the world is? I mean, what? France has one.
Nobody was before
carrier?
Trump became president 8 years ago.
Yeah, but France has one carrier, right? China, I think, just built their second, and it's one of these flat top super carriers. How many does Australia have?
Well, we haven't got no. We used to have one Air Force air carrier, but we got none. But you look what happened in UK, England. England used to have one of the biggest navies getting around.
Oh, it was the biggest in the world for a very long time.
They had to borrow a vessel from Germany not long ago because some of their boats have been repaired. But the thing is, did you see what Russia did? Russia sent a naval vessel when UK said they were going to do a blockade or something. And bloody Russia sent one sent a vessel between the British Channel, French Channel.
What were they blockading? Just the English Strait?
Yeah, they were going to go over. No, they were going to go over to Iran. France and England were going to send some boats over.
All right.
Like at the end of the war. And anyway, they were going on about Russia getting oil and all that sort of shit. So Putin sent one of the bloody Russian boats right through the bloody English Channel.
And they did nothing to stop it, did they?
Can't do nothing to stop it, mate.
That's something I want to bring up too, is that I heard a lot of people saying like this wouldn't have happened under Hillary Clinton had she won the first time. I was like, she wanted a no-fly zone over Syria, which would have been a declaration of war on Russia. Because no-fly zone means you shoot down anything in the fucking sky that's not yours, right?
Yep.
You shoot down a couple fucking MiGs, and I'm pretty sure Russia's gonna be pissed off. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Oh my criminy. Yeah, Hillary's a super war hawk. But we saw he died.
What does it matter?
Yeah, what difference does it make now anyway? It's like, what the fuck, lady?
Don't come.
That's Kamala.
I know, but I'm just throwing it in. Don't come.
Yeah. By the way, I'm a little peeved that we had the end of our intro thing with don't come, then Trump going, I'm gonna come. We had that probably 2 years before anyone else put those clips together.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden it was everywhere, wasn't it?
Yep.
And I was like, oh, they stole my fucking intellectual property, motherfucker.
You didn't
Should have got a
copyright it.
copyright. Should have got a
That's
copyright.
exactly what the issue is. I should have caught next time I actually get around to updating
We
this,
could
I
have
don't have to
made it. We
copyright
could
this
have
shit.
actually been paying for this show. You know, we could have
That
been making
would have
money.
paid for it alone.
Yep.
But yeah, I was like, motherfucker. But the thing is, Brian, we're always way ahead, aren't we? Because we follow this shit.
Yeah.
And how many? What we named at least 2 episodes. We're from the future.
Yeah, at least 2.
Ugh. But yeah, Spain's not getting kicked out because even if Spain is a bunch of pussies when it comes to combat rather, it's still better than not having them unless they're shooting at you too. You know what I mean?
Mate,
Yeah.
let's face it. If you guys pulled out NATO would be nothing.
Brian said it would dissolve within like 6 months.
I mean,
Yeah,
Trump's talking
we-
about it, but I'll believe it when I actually see it.
Well, here's the thing: is you go ahead and you pull out, right? Let NATO stew for a couple months, screaming at the United States, and then they're all going to come together and say, "What do we got to do to get the United States back in NATO?" And you
Mhm.
know that's exactly what would happen, right?
Right.
And Trump
you
could
feel
lay down.
sure?
Trump could lay down a charter. This is what we demand of everyone who's going to participate in this.
Yeah.
But finally, I'm picking on Australia, but that's not picking on you. There's a difference. You
I
know
know,
that,
mate.
right?
I know.
Just
It's our
like picking on,
government.
just like picking on Israel is different than picking on the Jews. But
Yeah, I know.
Australia finally was like, fuck, maybe we do need to put some money into defense. It's like we're all the way over here, all by ourselves with China right the fuck there.
Yeah, I think they come down to the AUKUS agreement, mate, the AUKUS pact, because like our government's been left leaning for a long time, and they're not big on that, mate. Honestly, but it's our conservative side, like you guys, that want our defence forces built up. And
Well, it's
I'm
too
just
late
gonna
once
cut
the
into
war
something
starts, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I'm just going to cut
always.
something really quickly. I seen this Terence K. Williams on Facebook. He put down, he goes, Australia's talking about, not inviting the Trumps or whatever to Australia. And I put a comment up and I said, no, mate, it's not the Australian people. I said, the majority of Australian people want Donald Trump as our prime minister. We need a guy like Trump here. It's our government who don't want him here because he'll show them up for the bloody losers that they are, pathetic traitors that they are. They've got to get that right. It's not the majority of Australians that don't want him here. It's the politicians.
Well, just like the SAVE Act, even 70% of Democrat voters, registered Democrat voters, were on board with you need ID to vote, but the politicians didn't pass it.
That's right. Aren't they there to do the will of the people?
That's the
No.
idea: for the people, by the people, or of the people, by the people, for the people, right?
Yep.
You would think.
Yeah, and the problem is someone who actually wants to. The real problem is anyone who would usually. I'm trying to find the right words. The kind of person you want to serve in Congress or Senate is not the kind of person who's going to run for Congress or Senate. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, I'd like to see me as a representative because I know I agree with me. You know what I mean? I don't want that fucking job.
You would hate yourself in that job.
I would hate that job.
The guy's really changed my opinion. That John Fetterman. Honestly, I didn't really like him at first, but I
The
changed my
stroke,
thoughts on that.
the stroke actually woke him up a little bit. I think.
I think he's always been that way. I think he's got good values, and I think he's got.
Yeah,
good
he
common
comes
sense
from a work.
too.
He grew up in a working class family in the steel mills.
Yeah, and I think he's got common sense too.
Yes. But the only thing that really bothered me about him getting elected was the fact that he couldn't speak when he got elected because of the stroke. I'm like, come on, guys. The guy can't speak. How is he possibly going to do this job properly? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no way he's getting reelected after the stuff he's been saying and doing. There's no way the Democrats are going to put him back in. I mean, granted, it would be Pennsylvania doing it, and Pennsylvania is blue-ish, I guess. It's more blue than
Going a bit
red,
purple.
but Yeah, it's definitely purple, but it leans a little more Democrat than Republican. And unfortunately, you tend to get the whack job Democrats win office more often than not. And I think lately that has a lot to do with the fact that the Democrats have gone so fucking off the rails that anyone who agreed with the 90s liberal Democrat, like Trump, for example, has shifted parties or at least gone independent.
Yeah. We find a lot of Democrats are now starting to say that too, eh? Saying the Democratic Party aren't what they used to be.
Well, that's what's crazy is the Republican Party right now is insanely disliked, but the Democrat Party is more disliked.
Yeah.
It's like you
And that's
guys,
the turnaround.
they don't stand for anything, dude. They literally have no platform to stand on for the last 10 years besides I hate Trump.
Or racism.
Well, which is I hate Trump because Trump's a giant racist, right?
Yeah.
It's all Trump. Yeah, I know. I still don't understand where this came from. Like, is it because he brought up a story from the 80s, back in the 80s, about a group of kids that were falsely accused of something? Like, I don't know. Like, Oprah asked Trump to run for president. Do people understand that? Do they know that?
You look at Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton. They're all friends of Trump's.
Jesse Jackson just died, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too bad. I liked him. I disagreed with a lot of his politics, but he did it in a good way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was a
hear
true
what he
preacher man. He wasn't Al Sharpton because Al Sharpton, you can call him a reverend all you want, but he's no man of God, and you know that.
Did you hear what he said? His son said at that funeral, at the celebration of his life, about the three presidents, Obama and Clinton, and that.
No.
Well, they got up and all they did was bag Trump, and he turned around. You Google it, what he had to say, and he turned around. And he said, "I've heard
You
from
know
three
they're
presidents
friends.
today." He goes, "I heard from three presidents today. They've done nothing, and you didn't know my father once." He said they're talking about a fourth president who was there.
There you go. Yeah, Brian, Jesse Jackson came up and we were doing a quick little how I disagreed with most of his politics, but he was a good man fighting the good fight the right way, you know? And apparently he was friends with Trump.
Yeah.
But damn, this all came out of the whole 90s liberal is now far right, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't Trump offer him an office free of charge or something?
What's that?
Didn't Trump offer him an office free of charge?
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he offered him an office free of charge.
What do you mean an office free of charge?
Well, when Jesse Jackson was starting out.
You mean like a workspace? I thought you meant like a cabinet position. I was like,
no,
I hope not, because that sounds insanely illegal.
No. When he was starting out, he to kickstart his business or whatever he was doing, his ventures. He offered him some office space free of charge.
I wouldn't surprise me. And that's a big thing that people forgot about Trump too, is he's very giving.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He has so much and he understands that. Like he's famous for tipping the guy who held the door for him $100 bill. Like everyone knows that too, right? Like you open the elevator for the dude, he hands you $100 bill. It's like, who carries around this many $100 bills? You know,
only Trump.
Yeah.
Did he pay the mortgage of the family, give him a lift when his car broke down?
But the thing is, he can't do that while he's in a political office. Yeah, which I mean, I don't know. Everybody loved the guy until he decided to run as a Republican. Had he run on the Democrat ticket and done the same shit, I bet they would have loved him.
For a while, it would have turned on him in a heartbeat.
Why? What is he
doing? Look at what they're doing to
Democrats?
Fetterman.
That's because he's taking Trump's side.
Fetterman's getting no Democrat.
Jesus Christ, we're walking in circles now.
He's not getting any Democrat state support from Democrats in the state of Pennsylvania for his reelection campaign.
I know. We actually literally just talked about that when you were gone for a minute. We were talking about Fetterman and exactly that.
But I don't know where we're at. So.
No, that's because That's because he's taking the side of Trump. And so
We're all
therefore
on the
he's
same
bad,
page,
just like Elon Musk.
But he's not even necessarily taking the side of Trump. He's taking the side of common sense. And he's even said that left and right. He's like,
I know. He should come over here to West Virginia. He might get elected. Like for real, he might get elected as a
I
Democrat.
still think he might get elected as a Democrat in Pennsylvania again.
Maybe, but the Democrats seem to keep putting up the more and more extreme left that they can every time.
So, is there anything else we want to cover here?
Oh yeah, we haven't moved past what you got highlighted actually.
Okay.
Yeah, we got into 90s liberal Democrats are right-wing
rabbit
extremists
trail.
now. Yeah, and then start talking about Fetterman. But the Iran, whatever, Revolutionary Guard has decided to fully close the Strait of Hormuz because the United States, still not sure what the United States did. Did we close the Strait of Hormuz or did we just close
Blockaded it
Bonnie
so that
ports?
none of their ports can
Just
be
their
used.
ports. But we let other people go through it.
Yeah.
Okay. See, that's where I got confused. I kept hearing it was completely closed. But now Iran has completely closed it. No one can move.
Well, they're threatening to fire on the ships that we're letting through. So if
Didn't
if you're an oil tanker company,
they did
are you
fire
going
on
to
a
take
ship.
that risk?
They well, that's the thing is some people have, and it's been decades, and that's why it's such an issue now. But they already have fired on ships.
Yeah.
but it's a mousetrap. It's a mousetrap that Trump's setting up for him. He's baiting them to stick their head in the mousetrap and eat the cheese.
That's what
Island.
The more this unfolds, the more I'm starting to think that too. And you know what? You can say Trump's an idiot. That's fine. But Trump did not come up with this plan himself. This has been in the works for decades.
Yeah.
And Trump just pulled the trigger on it. Because, I mean, let's be real. What Maduro got snatched up, the United States took control of Venezuelan oil. Right.
Yep.
And then they closed the Strait of Hormuz and stop oil coming out of the Middle East. Already sanctioned Russia's oil. Where are you going to get oil from?
US has got massive reserves. Venezuela's got massive reserves.
Saudi Arabia, right?
Yep.
It almost seems as if, Trump is executing this action for the same things he ran on in terms of let's bring the money back to the United States. Let's make the United States prosperous and profitable. Sell actual products. Isn't that what he ran on? It's like, let's make our own products and sell them to the rest of the world.
Yep.
Right.
And oh my God, now everyone has to buy American oil.
And they are.
And the world maybe he failed upwards over and over again, but that's why I brought up look at the chess pieces on the board.
Well, there's still a couple of good moves left because you notice that Qatar and the UAE are talking about building their own Panama Canal.
I heard something about that, yeah.
You can bet going around straight.
What are the what are the nations there think of this?
Like they're on board because Iran bombed them. So what are they going to do?
How long does that take?
Ages, but the thing is, you do it. You start it now.
How much land is it? Like it's like, for example, Panama Canal was a tiny cut geologically. You know what I mean? And that took years.
Well, they're expanding the Panama Canal now, so
but they have much better tech now, which is what I'm thinking is it may not take nearly as long to do a canal these days unless you're going across like 700 miles instead of like 12. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And how many men died in the carving of the Panama Canal? Wasn't it like thousands?
Yeah, I reckon there'd be thousands.
Jeez.
But the way they look at it overseas, mate, what they do, they get bloody people in, cheap labour in to build all that stuff, and like Qatar and all that. The new stadium they had for the World Cup in Qatar. How many people do you reckon died on that? They got cheap labour to do it. They don't care, mate. They'll just get them in. But the thing is, the other big chess piece that's happening in Iran right now, I don't know if you guys are aware of it, Karg Island, where they store most of their bloody oil and that. that the refined oil and fuel, that's just almost a capacity. Once that gets to the capacity, Iran's got nowhere else to store their reserves. So what's going to happen? They're going to have to shut the reserves down. And once all that shit happens, they're going to lose most of the reserves.
Well, yeah, they'll have to stop either slow down drilling.
They won't be able to slow it down. They'll have to stop it completely. They'll have nowhere to store
you
it.
slow down just to keep up with usage. You know what I mean? Instead of tapping reserves, then
how much
start
oil is
drilling
being
again.
used in Iran right now? Isn't like pretty much everybody just staying at home and like
hope not to get bombed.
Sheltering in place?
Well, they're trying to sell it.
They can't.
Yeah, that's
who?
Exactly. Well, are you kidding me? China got about 50% of their oil from Iran, and
can't get it out now.
No, and
get it out.
I know that's the point. And fertilizer, where you get liquid natural gas, you get a lot of nitrogen in the earth, makes good fertilizer. Ammonium nitrate, the good fertilizer that you can get that you're not allowed to buy as a civilian in the United States because you can make a fucking bomb out of it.
Yep. Well, that's where Trump's got the. That's where he's sitting back going, I've got plenty of time. You guys show me your next move. He's got it, mate. He's
exactly the thing. Well, no,
you're right.
Okay, he's going to be impeached after midterms because the Republicans are going to lose the House. Almost certainly.
No, don't think so.
It happens almost every time anyway.
I can't see it, mate.
I don't know. People are not happy with what's going on with Iran. And the comedians making jokes about Trump saying, "Oh, the Strait of Hormuz is open now." And like, it was open before we started, you asshole. You blocked it. I'm like, okay, it's more complicated than that, but that's the argument coming out, and that's what people are hearing, and they're upset about it. Because I tell you, your average American citizen does not pay nearly enough attention to what's going on to have
they do not listen to
informed their opinion. Exactly.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And well, how many times have I told you? You, as an Australian, know more of what's going on in this country than most of our
average
country.
American citizens. Yeah.
It's because the life is so nice. It's so nice that they don't have to know what's going on. And that's a great thing. Don't get me wrong. That is the American dream, was that you could be someone that's safe and you don't have to worry about the worries of the world. But then they go and complain about the worries of the world, and they have no idea what's going on.
Right.
You know, and they say how the United States is so evil and wrong. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Go live in any of these countries. Fuck, Brian, we love our cages. Finland just deported like 72 transgender Americans back to the United States.
We talked about it on the last show.
Yeah, we love our cages. It was a great thumbnail.
I didn't look and see what our downloads was. Let me pull it up here.
It was. I bet that thumbnail got downloads. It was 3 dudes in dog kennels in dresses with beards. And it says, "We love our cages" in big bubbly letters and like an arch when the O in love was a heart. I was like, oh, that was a good one. But yeah, these transgender folks fled the United States because they were being persecuted. Finland was like, no, you're not in the United States. That's not true.
9 downloads.
Only 9. Well, in a week.
Yeah. Well, we had 7 the week before, 8 the week before that. So 9 ain't bad.
But yeah, Finland was like, no, we're not accepting you. It's definitely not for asylum. You're not being persecuted in the United States. Just because someone looked at you funny doesn't mean you're being persecuted. It's like you make decisions. They're allowed to have their opinions too. So they've been deported, but while they got one appeal. You only get one appeal in Finland. You don't get infinite appeals like the United States. Like, what's this dude's name? The El Salvadorian Maryland man.
Oh, I forgot his name. Yeah, mate. He's not even worth remembering.
The Maryland man.
Yeah, Maryland man. He's got infinite appeals apparently. Finland heard each case once. It was like, nope, you're going back. And
he gets to pick which country he gets deported to too.
That's fucking crazy. But yeah, these trannies had to sleep on the dirt in a literal cage waiting for their appeal trial before they were sent back to the States. And it's interesting how none of them went to Iraq or Afghanistan or Palestine.
Yeah, that's it.
They all went to Finland. Finland's the right one, right? I don't know. Is Finland the one that has like 19 names?
Netherlands.
Netherlands. I'm
Netherlands.
sorry, it's the Netherlands. They're Dutch. They're yeah.
Holland.
Okay. Yeah. Holland. Exactly. It's like 100 different names to call these folks, right?
Yep.
I'm sorry. It was the Netherlands that these folks went to, not Finland. But yeah, no, they did fire. Iran did fire on ships, multiple ships, and
We
now,
fired back.
well, the U.S. Navy has fired on and seized a ship bound for Iran. What's interesting about this, interesting, the situation was they had given they got 6 hours of notice, and it was that same recording that we played before, Brian.
Yeah.
And they just ignored it and tried to steam right through. So finally, the Navy, the destroyer, came out and was like, "Evacuate your engine rooms now."
Yeah, seen that.
And what, Brian? Does it say in this article what weapons they hit him with? Because it must have been like the 50 cals or something. I don't know what kind of firepower you need to get through a cargo vessel to destroy the engines, but I can just imagine a fucking MK-45. Because I'm just thinking, is that the 5-inch gun?
Your
Brian,
lads
you're
actually
muted.
boarded that.
Yeah,
Your-
I think
your
it
lads
is the
actually
5-inch
boarded it.
gun.
That it was the 5-inch they hit it with.
Yeah.
Dear God,
Let me look it up real quick to double check.
it's the MK-45.
But isn't the vessel that your lads actually boarded and took control of?
Yes,
well?
disabled
Naval
it, and
gun.
then
Yep, 5-inch,
dear God,
127 millimeter naval artillery gun. Yep.
there we go. There you go. And here's the thing: for anyone going, "Oh, a 5-inch long bullet," that's not a big deal. No. It's 5 inches across the base of the round.
Yep.
This is a
Manufactured by
massive
BAE
gun.
Systems.
It's a massive gun, isn't it?
Yep. I've heard it fired. I've listened to it fired. I shot video of it being fired.
I have a
that
shell
a
casing
rapid-
in. I have a shell
that
casing
a
in my
rapid-
garage.
Is that a rapid fire gun too? Or
What do you consider rapid fire?
more one reload? You know what I mean? Like it's a rapid.
It reloads each shot
It's not
taken. But
rapid,
every
though. It's not like
every
a
weapon,
Gatling gun.
well, every weapon has to reload. Basically, you have to put either a new chamber lined up
chamber.
with a round in it, or put a new round in the chamber. But the 5-inch gun holds one round at a time, and there's a big conveyor belt of munitions down inside the gun below decks.
Yeah.
And as it fires, a giant hinge opens up, and a hunk of steel literally took a chief's head off once because he was in the wrong place when the gun opened. Giant hunk of steel just knocked it right off his body. But it comes down, it grabs the next round, and loads it up into the breech. It can fire. I think it takes less than 1 second to fire each round, like between rounds.
So for the
Damn.
first time in a long
And
time,
there's multiple 5-inch guns on most of these ships.
we got 3 aircraft carriers in the Middle East. I
I
can't remember the
swear
last time that happened.
we just talked about this when Gaza erupted, I think, because like, holy shit, to bring in a third carrier. I thought I made a big deal about this. Maybe that was the second carrier.
Didn't the Jared Ford come in last? Wasn't it the last one in?
I think so.
But I mean, Jesus Christ.
That's a lot of fire. That's a lot of firepower because they've all got their own carrier air wings. And it's not just a carrier that comes in. There's a aircraft
battle fleet
group. The whole battle group
Yeah.
comes in with them. So there's destroyers,
Support fleet.
cruisers,
Submarines.
submarines. Yeah, it's all
Mines,
there.
boyfriend.
What do you need this much? I mean, I understand it's an overwhelming show of force, But let's be 100% real here. One United States aircraft carrier is a nation-ending weapon to most of the world.
Apparently not Iran.
Well, it's that none of them have been turned loose to go, all right, we're at war, weapons hot. You know what I mean? These are precision strikes versus World War II, just blow everything the fuck up, you know? But Brian, I know you understand the firepower of a fucking strike group.
Yeah, I've been there.
And I know
done that.
I keep bringing this up, but I don't, there's no way the average person understands how much destructive force is in a naval strike group. Well, you got 2 destroyers, two frigates, at least 1 cruiser, at least 2 submarines, and the aircraft carrier, and all of those other ships' jobs is to protect the aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
But the first thing it tells me, mate, this isn't just going to be a quick fix. This tells me that much firepower there. He's there to be prepared to be there for the long haul.
Well, that's the question. Well, if he unloads 3 aircraft carriers arsenal, it won't be very long. And that's the question. Is he looking to just end this in a hurry? Or is this just hey, don't forget who the fuck we are?
Right.
You know, I genuinely don't know.
I think it's also a deterrent to Russia and China as well.
Here's a good question too, Brian. Where did these ships come from? Were they in port and got put out to sea for this, or were they taken from another duty station to do this?
They were in port. Gerald Ford was in port, and it was deployed from Norfolk.
So they got orders. Hey, we're heading
And
out.
they had just
like
come back
3
recently.
days.
So basically, I think I remember the Gerald Ford is now on the longest deployment since Vietnam.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Jeez, that sounds like a lot of steak and lobster, doesn't it?
Sure does. Nobody understands that.
And exactly, and that's why we specifically talked about this when everyone lost their shit over a couple $1 million being spent for steak and lobster for the military.
Oh,
and it pissed me the fuck off. And I was like, anyone complaining about this doesn't know a single veteran.
Well, I mean, there's differences because the Navy is all about their steak and lobster with bad news. The Air Force, Army, that's not a big thing.
No, they do it too.
Not as much.
Not as much, but they do it, and it's something you do before something where you might be sent to go die. You know what I mean? At least a prisoner on death row gets a last meal.
Yeah.
And it looked like there for a minute, like we were going to send Marines in, and that's fucking terrifying.
Well, the Marines are there. There is a amphibious ship with Marines on board. That was my last. That was the last ship in the Navy for me. Was a ship that hauled Marines around the world. So
I bet that was a ton of fun.
Oh yeah.
I had a SEAL team on the Carl Vinson with us. They literally had nothing to do all day.
That's how the Marines are.
I know, but the only reason why I even knew the SEAL team was on the ship was because one of them was an HT by rating.
Nice.
And came to the shop
just
to keep sharp on his skills and to do something. And I was like, where the fuck did you come from? He's like, oh, I'm down where? I was like, okay, I know how to find that space. I've never been there.
Right.
You know? And he's like, oh yeah, well, we're the SEAL team. I'm like, you're out of your fucking mind. And he shows me his trident, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I had no idea we even had SEALs on the ship. And that's how we do SEAL operations. Even the fucking Navy guys don't know that the
bad
SEALs
news
are
for
there.
you. Pretty much there's SEAls on the aircraft carrier or whatever is deployed.
Yes, because shit happens and you want the SEAL team there, right?
Yeah.
I know he's prepared to do it any time, but I'll ask you two guys, do you think you'll let the Marines and the SEALs go out on land in Iran? Do you reckon you'll cut them loose?
Well, the SEALs you don't cut loose. The SEAls are precision.
SEAls are the people that got the down aircraft weapons officer back.
Yes. Or
They're
they're the guys who take
they're
out.
the people that went in and did search and rescue and figured out where he was at and recovered his ass before he was captured by Iranians.
And they're
And
also the guys
Osama bin
that'll
Laden
take
and all
out. They're also the guys that'll take out a bridge, or you know what I mean.
that. Special ops.
Yeah. They drop in from the ocean, they swim up to shore, and by the time you realize what happened, their footprints are already washed away by the tide. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
the
You think he
Marines,
Yeah,
they're
definitely.
fucking terrifying because at least you don't even know what happened with the
The
SEALs. You
Marines are
see
the
the
first
Marines,
people on the land,
and the last one's out.
and I don't think Trump wants to get embroiled in Iran, because if you put boots on the ground in Iran,
It's mountains.
we're going to be there for well past his presidency.
Yes, and
It's
it's the same thing as
well defended, isn't it?
yeah, it would be the same idea as trying to invade West Virginia. It's all mountains. It's
Right.
almost impossible to
We
get
tried
around.
we tried this in Afghanistan. We
And
tried
look how
it
well
in
that worked out.
Kosovo. We tried it in Bosnia.
Kosovo. Wow.
I've been there.
Is that the first reference we've ever made to Kosovo on this show?
Highly unlikely. I've been to Albania for refugee camps with Kosovo. So
I remember hearing.
That was under Clinton, wasn't it? Kosovo.
I was gonna say I was young when this happened, but it was like one of the first things I remember happening. I don't even remember what happened there.
Wasn't Kosovo?
It's all most of those Middle Eastern countries. It's all about religion.
I was gonna say it was either probably religious or Soviet related.
Religious.
Yeah, but wasn't Clinton the president at the time of Kosovo and
yes,
Bosnia?
he was. I was in the Navy then.
I don't remember what happened with Bosnia either. I remember that being all over the news too.
It's three different religions trying to live in one country.
Macedonians, Bosnians, Serbians.
It's the Serbians, the Croatians, and you got Muslims, Christians. I don't know. I've been drinking a lot tonight.
Serbians with the Muslims.
It was three different religions trying to live all under one rule. And when they had a dictator, he made it work. When the dictator left, it was a shit show.
Yeah, it wasn't Miloslav or something like Miloslav. His name was
Tito.
Miloslav Kosovic or something. I think his name was.
But his first name was Tito.
Kosovic sounds familiar.
I don't know.
Miloslav, yeah.
Yeah. It just seems crazy. Like the United States, all you have to do is have no official religion and actually enforce murder laws, and you can have people that disagree with religion get along well enough. Well enough. You may not be friends. You may not be going and breaking bread with the Muslim if you're a devout Christian, but realistically, why not? Like just because they have a different God than you doesn't mean that you need to fight them, right?
That's right, mate.
So another great news, China has decided it has successfully tested a cable cutting ROV at 1,140 feet below sea level, so they can cut the internet cables between
the transatlantic cable.
Yep.
China could cut Australia off from the internet.
So we invented the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, but the Wi-Fi ain't gonna work.
Yeah, Wi-Fi doesn't work
from the United States.
Yeah, Wi-Fi is local, not internet across the planet, dude. They'll cut the cable, literally cut the cable that connects you to the rest of the world.
We'll be right, mate. We've been separated from the rest of the world for years.
Yeah, so it wasn't the United States for a long time until the fucking internet.
We got the internet now. We're addicted. You got the same problem in Australia.
Mate, I was down in Tasmania. One of the cables got bloody cut. I was down in Tasmania when it happened. From Melbourne to Tasmania.
Wasn't that an Australian woman ship captain that
New Zealand?
Okay, New Zealand, and she wrecked the ship and like cut the internet cable or something.
She's still a ship captain.
We talked about this. Like, this is the definition of a DEI hire. You know, like she sank a ship in the open ocean
at low tide.
Oh, New Zealand.
At low tide it was.
I can't remember that woman's name, but I remember we definitely talked about it. I was like,
Oh, we
holy
definitely
crap,
talked about her too.
I can't
yeah.
believe this just happened. Like they just lost like a $500 million like research vessel.
Yeah.
That was just a white lesbian DEI hire.
So that was a big part. That's why it was such a big story. It's like you hired her because she was a freaking lesbian woman, not because she knew what the fuck she was doing.
Now, if she had been of color, that would have made a bigger story.
Well, then it wouldn't have been her fault when it happened. You know?
Blame the second in charge.
But yeah, no, this cable cutting robot that China's made. Why did they make something that can do this? Unless it's to cut cables under the ocean.
You guys can stop a pipeline.
Actually, I believe
Nordstrom.
Poland accused 2 Germans of blowing up that pipeline in Ukraine.
Ah,
Why would Russia cut off their own freaking supply of oil out to sell it? Why would they do that?
I think it had something to do with a 3-letter agency.
CIA.
I was going to say CIA because we had Navy SEALs doing a training ops there like 3 days before that freaking pipeline blew up. I don't know, man. It's like, Russia didn't have to blow it up. They could just close the valve.
Yeah, turn a valve, yeah. Turn a oil.
Yeah, if they wanted to cut everyone off from their oil, they could just close the valve. But on China again, they made some freaking humanoid style robot.
Yeah, I got a video.
Yeah, I see that. And it was trying to run a marathon, a half marathon.
Apparently, it broke the record.
Well, and itself. You got a video. Unfortunately, no one's gonna be able to see this video because we're mostly audio.
A robot named Lightning breaking the half marathon world record in Beijing this past weekend, finishing in just 50 minutes and 26 seconds, under an hour.
That's hours early, isn't
Tesla's
Yeah.
robot was on display at the company's showroom right by the Boston Marathon finish line. And here with us to talk about it is Kurt Knutson, the cyber guy. Hey, Kurt.
Hey, Ainsley, good morning to you. It seems like all of a sudden robots are everywhere, especially when it comes to a race, the human race. And then you look at this thing and you go, Elon Musk must have been watching in China when those robots finally won the race. I remember last year we showed this same thing, but the robots were really falling over each other.
Yeah.
Well, they did that again this year in China, but at the same time, half of them actually finished the race, and that's the big news here.
Oh, half of them finished the race this year, and last year not so many.
With these, over 100 of these humanoid robots took on
it gets even better.
12,000 human runners, and what's amazing to me here is that they actually got it to complete the race. Now, on the other hand,
why would you make it run on 2 legs, though?
The fun part to watch is the other half that didn't quite do well, starting with one at the starting line that just ran into the crowd and fell over onto itself, and then one almost to the end.
Hey, are they liable for injuries?
Wiped out in a spectacular way.
Who are made of?
The fun things to watch because I think it makes us feel better that, okay, they're not quite ready to kill us. But at the very end of the day, we're looking at innovation.
It's not Judgment Day.
Not yet. It's coming, but not yet.
If they can beat us in a human race, what are we doing? Yeah. What are we doing allowing all this to happen? And by the way, Ainsley, my just
look at that robot go. Run, robot, run.
Unanswered constantly. Where is the off button?
Yeah, I know. This one that you're watching right now.
Why do you want an off button?
The fast one. That's the one that finished 12 miles faster than any human
12
ever.
miles.
There you go, like an hour.
Like I could understand, usually where it's a few minutes faster, a few seconds faster. This was 12 miles. That's a little scary. Now, we have progressed so far in the last year. What is it going to look like?
But you worry about robots moving fast. It wouldn't be on 2 legs. It'd be on fucking tank treads, wouldn't it?
Race anymore? Yeah. Will it just be robots running? Will they have already
the balance required to stay on 2 legs is insane.
But let's be honest.
That's why you don't see it in nature besides humans, basically.
Really, can you honestly wake up today and go, oh, I feel just perfectly fine with this? Because no, you can't. There's nobody telling us that there's any sort of boundaries here. And really, nobody is following any sort of rule book that says, all right, we're going to create a universal off switch when these things get too fast, too powerful, too smart. where we can't any longer control what's happening.
Yeah,
So I freak out when I see this stuff. And
No, when you say that kind of shit, it sounds like you want to have a government switch in my car to shut it off too.
I still prefer humans, and I'm amazed at what can happen. But come on, rein this stuff in.
Well, I remember last year we were talking about you could buy a robot that would do your laundry and would clean your house, and I think they were $25,000. Are we going to eventually get to the point where we're like the Jetsons and we own a robot?
You know, heck,
Judy.
it is coming. I mean, if you think about on the practical side of things, humanoid robots like that in the household of an older loved one that really does need that kind of assistance, that's powerful. That's meaningful. But again, where's the off button? Make all these things. Make our lives better.
Just don't buy it then.
Yeah,
but come on,
I'm not buying
be
it.
safer about it, because right now it's just people innovating and just saying, oh, look at this. It can run us over. Oh, well, great. I'm thrilled that this thing's about
So
to
can't
run
my
me
car.
over. It just did in a race.
You mentioned that video of the robot that was pretty humorous. It was all over social media that tried to leave the finish line and then just took. Watch this. Can we start it from the beginning where he trips on that little
cut back to the
part of
video.
finish
This is
line,
great.
or the starting line, and then he just
We gotta
takes a
figure where the
tumble and
hell
he
it's
breaks
at.
apart, and they run over with a stretcher like it's a human being. If we can find
like
that
a
video,
human stretcher, it was hilarious to watch it, and it makes us feel good, I think, because you see this and you go, okay, they're not quite there yet, they're not going to kill us yet, but the reality is half of them did complete the race. One of them now, for the first time, beating out human beings. I'm just saying, what are we doing? Let's start asking some questions, and let's just get some.
We're making
guardrails.
advancements in
There are
technology.
some powerful companies here in America that are working on this, and Tesla, Elon Musk is one of them. There are a few
Boston
others here in America, so
Dynamics.
hopefully we can beat
Right?
China in this race as well, like the space race.
Well, there's that robot that won the race, then began breakdancing and broke itself into pieces.
Nice.
It had to be hauled off as rubbish. I think that's hilarious. But yeah, I have no issue with making of robots, honestly. I know a lot of people do. And it's going to replace jobs. AI is going to replace jobs too. We're going to find another way to make money. If we ever want to make it to the Star Trek world where all your basic needs are taken care of, then we need to have these advancements. And it's going to be difficult as they happen. But we're going to lose white-collar jobs to AI before we lose blue-collar jobs to robots.
Right.
I don't know, man. If I can get a robot to go cut down a dangerous tree instead of me doing it, I would rather a robot go do it. You know?
You got a robot to climb a tree?
Not one that I know of or can afford or want to afford, right? But fuck, like some stuff's dangerous. Why not have a robot do it? You know?
Yeah.
And if it can't sweep your house, it probably can't climb a tree and cut it down safely. You know?
I think, like you look at AI, you've got to be very careful on what we're doing. Like, for example, I went to my doctor's a couple of weeks ago, and my doctor said now, because living in Australia, we've got a high rate of skin cancer and that. The doctor said to me, we've got AI now, what they'll do, instead of us going and checking you with a little magnifying glass, they'll actually take a photo of your front, your back, your sides.
Yeah.
And every year you go, and they'll show you if any spots are changing. And they'll pick it up, bang, straight away like that. If any spots getting larger.
No, and see, this is good technology.
Yeah. But technology
any new tech can be used for evil. Any new tech. Fuck. The guy who made the Nobel Peace Prize, who put the whole thing together, could be considered the person who created the most dangerous weapon of all time.
Yep, it sure can.
Arthur Nobel invented dynamite.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And he got the Peace Prize. But the thing is,
no, he invented the Peace Prize.
Well, no,
it was supposed to be used for mining. It turned into weapons.
Well, you look at
Remember,
Einstein.
any new technology is either going to become pornography or a weapon.
Well, you look at Einstein, mate. What he created.
Well, he was trying to figure out how the world works, and him and Heisenberg and Oppenheimer went and made a nuclear fucking weapon.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully we'll keep peace. But the thing is, like, you look at it from industrial age until now, or from the Stone Age until now, everything's developed. Everything has developed. People have got jobs, people have lost jobs. All because the new ideas, new
Because
technology.
the new ideas show up. Yep. Like the delivery driver from your local Domino's doesn't exist anymore because Uber Eats came in.
Well, who's going to suffer
I
the
can't
most
get
from
any
it?
delivery where I live.
Neither can I.
Well,
I
who's
got
gonna suffer the
Starlink
most?
internet. You don't.
Actually, it's funny. It's about a mile and a half up from my house is where the internet cable ends. I wouldn't have a high-speed internet if I was like 3 miles away.
But look, who's going to lose out of all this? Males, the male bloody worker. He's going to miss out.
How so? Because women
Well,
are in the
you look at all the labouring jobs and that out there. You look at industrial jobs
again.
out there.
The white collar jobs are going to disappear first to AI before the robots take over blue collar jobs. It's going to be managers and people analyzing data and crunching numbers that's going to be replaced by a computer.
Oh yeah, it's going to happen big time.
But it's been happening since the dawn of time, like you said.
Yep.
Look how many fewer people we need. I say that as if we've done it again, but how many people do you think we need physically, personally there on the job, like doing the math and everything to set up another moon landing today versus the first time man landed on the moon?
Did we land on the moon?
It's an excellent question, Brian. I believe we did, but that's only because we placed a giant mirror up there and you can literally shoot a laser at it, have it come back and measure how long it takes and measure the distance from here to the moon that way. Does everyone know that, by the way? We put up a giant parabolic mirror on the moon that you can actually shoot a laser at and like get the signal back. It's really neat tech. It's cool stuff that anyone can do. You just need realistically you need a laser and a computer and maybe a little more hardware to hook up, sent time, receive time.
Anything leftovers?
Yes. I'm just saying it took a whole shit ton of people to do the math to land on the moon. And if we allegedly we're gonna land on the moon again soon, right? That's what we're saying.
Sure.
Next year, about putting bases on the moon.
Yeah, I bet you computers do 99% of the math.
Well, the iPhones that the last astronauts took around the moon to take pictures with is more computing power than Neil Armstrong had in his Apollo craft.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Is exactly. My cell phone has more computing power used in it now than we used to land on the moon. It's how many jobs disappeared. You know what I mean? But instead we started working different ways, making money different ways. Fuck, people are making money playing video games and live streaming it. I'm saying this is always a different way to make money. You may lose a job here, but that doesn't mean you can't find work somewhere else.
We need to set up an OnlyFans account.
Progress has to happen. Yes, OnlyFans account. By the way, speaking of, I'm selling feet pics to fund the show. Anyone who wants,
I hope it works.
Anyone who wants my feet pics.
Well, we're still waiting for you to drink a Foster's. So.
Oh yeah, no, he's got to drink a Bud Light.
Oh, we moved to the Bud Light now. Okay.
The crazy thing is, I already drank that giant Bud Light because I was out of beer one day.
I've still got the Foster's in the fridge. I'm not that desperate.
It's funny. Every phone game I play with is Australians. They always talk trash. They're Australian. You know. It's just like Americans talk trash, right? But every time I'm like, hey, you know how you would really piss off an Australian? Like, oh yeah, how? What are you gonna do, you stupid cunt? And I'm like, I hear the only beer you drink is Foster's. Like, oh, fuck you.
Fire up straight away. Guaranteed to get a fight.
Like, that shit's for tourists. I'm like, I
It
hear
works
that's the
every
only...
time.
You guarantee to get a good blue out of something like that, boys.
Brian, you shared this, I think, this mystery golden orb they found in the Gulf of Alaska, like 4 years ago. When I heard orb, I was thinking sphere. It did not look anything like I thought it was. It's not gold. It's gold colored. And it turned out they finally figured out what it was.
This is the unknown species
Of
that has
some
now been
anemone.
identified by researchers in a 2023 deep sea expedition. It's a remnant of a rarely seen giant deep sea anima called replicas, blah blah blah.
It's a sea anemone.
And it is specifically part of an organism that anchored itself to the ocean floor.
Yeah, I just thought it was
like 2 miles deep.
Yeah, I just thought it was crazy. I thought it was a very interesting story, but I was like, all right, so let's be real, most of the new discoveries we're doing on this planet have been in the ocean the last 100 or so years.
Yeah.
Like we know the surface of the moon better than we know the bottom of the ocean. Let's be real.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah.
And shit, I still watch videos about these submersibles that go down the trench over there by Japan. It's crazy that anything could possibly live down there with the pressure and everything. But all the life down there is living off like volcanic vents and that energy. I'm like, this is fucking nuts. No sunlight. No sunlight.
No,
so like
too far down.
Yeah, but what is it eating? And it's eating the Earth's heat. I'm like, that's fucking crazy because usually you eat something that eats something that eats something that eats sunlight, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if it comes down to it, like you eat the cow ate the grass ate the sunlight.
The circle of life.
You eat the apple eats the sunlight.
Yep.
All the energy comes from the sun. Then I find out that there's fucking life at the bottom of the ocean where there's no sun. And I'm like, oh, this is fucking crazy, you know? Anyway, sorry. Jumanji Jackson has opened her mouth again.
There's a shocker.
Yeah, which it was two dissenters, her and Sotomayor, I think.
Yeah.
And Sotomayor had no intention at all of having anything to do with the dissent letter or whatever because Jackson was authoring it. She's like, no, I don't want
it herself.
Yeah, well, this is not the first time this has happened either.
No.
More than once, Sotomayor's been like, you're out of your fucking mind, you know? Actually, I believe that when that happened, it was when who's the young woman? Young, probably 50s that Trump put in place.
I know who you're talking about. I can't think of the name now.
I know, right? I feel terrible too. But yeah, I remember in one of the letters she wrote, like the majority opinion, she was like, apparently you're overlooking like 250 years of constitutional law and precedent. You know, I just thought it was hilarious. But it's Kate Barrett. There we go. You would think at some point Jackson would be like, I obviously don't know what I'm talking about. But what was she upset about this time? Like she didn't like law enforcement or the way the courts were overstepping police or something?
Yeah.
Okay, so she wanted to give more authority to the police. Then, because she said that the rest of the Supreme Court overstepped the police, meaning the police should have the more authority.
It was a routine police stop case. She didn't want people to be stopped at 2 a.m. and searched and stuff like that. She was against it.
Well, why are you getting searched at 2 a.m.? Is there a reason to search you, or is it just because it's 2 a.m.?
There's a reason to search you.
Yeah, you can't just search people for no reason. So just the fact that it's after 2, she said it's not okay. Like, let's be real, most of your super illegal stuff happens in the middle of the night when it comes to like smuggling and such things,
That's
you
why
know.
9 times out of 10 I'm not out past dark anymore.
I believe Ted Mosby from not Big Bang Theory, How I Met Your Mother said, nothing good happens after 2 a.m.
Nope.
No, I
And
thought it was
that's
midnight,
actually,
but yeah, I'll go with 2.
huh?
I thought it was midnight, but yeah, I'll go with 2.
Well, if you're in your 30s, you could be out past midnight and not have issues. After 2, things start to go bad, you know? Oh, this is, I don't know what to think of this. The former mayor of New York, what's his name? Adams, was it?
Yeah, Mary
Yeah.
Adams.
I didn't particularly care for him, but at least the guy is a decent human.
Yeah.
He doesn't understand why. He came out and publicly said why Mom Donnie didn't say a damn thing about a child being beaten to death and
In
then
Queens
shot
Park.
for good measure in a park. Like, why
In
was
a
this
New
not
York
addressed?
City park.
Yes, why was this not addressed? Like, I thought the parks were supposed to be safe. That's yeah, they beat the kid apparently to within like an inch of his life and then shot him in the chest to
Wow.
kill him. And I read this to the wife. She's like, well, why'd they bother beating him up? I was like, to torture him. They wanted to
Yeah.
hurt this kid and then kill him. Just killing him wasn't good enough.
Right.
This is the kind of shit that needs to be stopped.
Oh,
Yep.
And there was a bunch of other fucking kids that did this, and like it was never came up anywhere. It was never a big story. This should have made nationwide news. And you know, as a fact, had that not been a white kid getting beaten up by minority groups, it would have made national news.
Oh, yeah.
Little,
the problem is, mate, the youth these days are allowed to get away with crimes. In my day, your day, and Brian's day, mate, if we had done something wrong, I would have been flogged from head to toe.
I
Yep.
would have got
would
my
be
ass
barely
kicked.
breathing.
I would have got my ass kicked by my father, then handed over to the police.
The police, yep, mate. I'll tell you what, they're taking away all the police's authority. They're taking away authority to parents these days, especially in Australia. You can't smack your kids no more. I was smacked.
I'm allowed
Yeah.
to spank my children in
First
West
thing I
Virginia,
was
but I cannot just like.
violently coming out.
Well,
Them, yeah.
I remember I called my mother a bitch once when I was like 15. And my father said, don't you ever speak to my wife that way. And I realized I was in trouble because he said, my wife, not your mother.
Yeah.
He
Mate,
took
we
me
used
out.
to-
He took me outside like it was 1920 style boxing, like put up your dukes, right? And I'm like,
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
15, I got no fucking dukes. And he kicked my ass. And I learned a lesson in respect that day.
Yep. Mate, I went to an all boys Catholic school. Mate, you had to look after yourself. You had to learn respect and you had to learn how to like fight and look after yourself. We were caned daily. And I'll tell you what, I learned nothing but respect. My parents, and that's what they're taking away now. There's no accountability for their actions.
And you can handle more bullshit before you have to react because you were disciplined. You remember actual discipline. Like this isn't as bad as that. I don't have to get involved yet. But I think that's a big problem with this cultural shift is the generations that were disciplined in such a way to force respect went away. And now these kids have no respect for anything and no one's going to enforce any of these rules.
Well,
That's
apparently
right.
in Idaho they will because they've got a new law in place.
Well, hold on. You're about to jump the shark on this one. Idaho has said that child sex offenders, child molesters, and up basically in terms of evilness are now eligible for the death sentence.
Yep.
Do you know what's fascinating about Idaho's death sentence laws?
Nope.
Oh, Idaho uses a fucking firing squad.
Nice.
So yeah, you diddle kids in Idaho, you might be lined up with a cigarette in your mouth and a blindfold on, and 5 dudes with rifles pointed at your heart.
How much does it cost for a single bullet these days?
It's very cheap, but you know what? A rope is reusable.
Yeah.
A
You got to be
proper
hygienic.
hanging, a proper hanging is a very humane death.
And it
Assuming you're
looks
not,
like. Go ahead.
assuming you're not dangling there, choking, slowly strangling, a proper hanging should break your neck. It should kill you instantly. You could reuse that rope over and over again. And I believe there's a couple states that still do hangings as an option because most states give you an option if you're going to be executed. Which one do you want to go by? Like, for example, Florida, you still have an option to use the electric chair.
Ooh, no, I wouldn't like that one.
No, lethal injection sounds better. But remember a couple years ago, they botched one and the dude like screamed in agony for like 2 hours before he died.
That's because they got rid of the drug companies wouldn't let them use the drugs they used to use.
Yeah, well, then okay, I get it. No, I'll respect the Hippocratic oath. I refuse to make this drug because it does harm. I can respect that. Then well, you know what? A bullet is effective, and they're
And
not
cheaper.
very expensive.
And cheaper.
Yeah.
Think of the taxpayer. Always think of the taxpayer.
Exactly. It's like, oh, I have no idea what round they're using, but like my deer rifle, it's a little under $2 a round if I only buy a small box instead of a big box. So I mean, and you got 5 rifles typically
Well,
in
you
a
buy a
five.
small box.
Well, the wife got me a small box when she bought me the rifle for Christmas. And then I went and bought a bigger box because that was only like 20 rounds, I think.
Exactly.
But yeah, well, again, even when I buy the bigger box, it's still only like a $1.50 a round. So I don't use that rifle a whole lot for playing around. You know what I mean? It's a 308. It's a decent
It's for hunting.
cartridge. Yeah, it's a decent cartridge. That sucker is for shooting things at like a half mile up to a mile and a half away.
Nice.
Yeah, it's not my handgun where rounds cost
Right.
50 cents, 40 cents. Shit, the 22 rounds are like 11 cents a piece. And I tell you what, pulling out the 22 revolvers and just going nuts in the backyard is a ton of fun playing cowboy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who would live, Emma?
Oh, and the 22 revolvers are both single action. So that means you physically have to cock the hammer every time you fire it. Like an old Western. It's a fun gun to have. And it's within all regulations and a effective gun for rabbits. So, I don't know if either of you guys like rabbit stew at all.
Yeah, I don't mind rabbit.
Yeah, it's not a great tasting animal. That's about as far down the food chain as I'll go.
Yeah, it's pretty dry meat. You got to cook it really slow. Really.
You chop the meat up and you put it in a stew with vegetables and everything and broth, and let the meat absorb that instead of
It's like kangaroo. You got to flash cook kangaroo.
That's what I hear. I hear it's
there was a guy on the new MasterChef show. They cooked kangaroo last week.
No shit, huh?
Yeah, it's got to be like medium rare or rare before, otherwise it gets really tough. Yeah,
a couple of seconds either side.
Well, just like trying to cook bear. Like, basically, no matter what you do with bear, it's not going to taste good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just it doesn't hold a lot of fat. Kangaroos have got a lot of fat in them.
That's right. Yeah, it's very lean.
Very, very lean. It's one of the leanest meats you can eat.
That's what I hear, but you need fat in your diet. Now, do people know that?
Nope.
Yeah, good sausage needs a good 80-20 ratio.
Well, that's a big issue that we had in a long time here in the States, especially people moving out west, coming through Appalachian Mountains, was rabbit starvation. rabbits, don't have enough nutrition in them to feed you. No matter how many rabbits you eat, you will never get the nutrition you need. So, like, you can go rabbit hunting every day because they're everywhere.
Yeah.
You're still going to starve to death. I thought it was very interesting that you have to have something else. And it might explain why there's so many fruit trees on my property, honestly, that are already bearing fruit. What's up with this? I thought we already handled ICE and Border Patrol, or was that just ICE?
No, there was a temporary solution where Trump like pre-funded a bunch of their budget, but this will fully fund them for well into the future. They're using the budget reconciliation process to push it through without Democrat support.
All right. What the hell is? Oh, I got it muted. That's why. Sorry, I was trying to do something else and couldn't understand why I couldn't hear what I was doing. What the hell is? Oh God, I'm getting my ass kicked by my computer here, dude.
It happens.
It does happen. It's embarrassing every time. I completely missed everything you just said. Oh, okay. So they're going to they figured out how to somehow pay ICE and
filibuster proof it.
all right. So are the Republicans do anything about this filibuster? Because I keep hearing, oh, then the Democrats will. The Democrats.
No, I don't. I do not believe
already
they're going
doing all
to.
this shit.
Republicans are getting rid of the filibuster.
You don't think it's going to happen?
No.
Because I mean, geez, the Dems, all they did was accuse Trump of malicious prosecution, and that's all they've done the whole time.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, it's like to run as a Democrat, you have to have read Rules for Radicals. And I think that's a big problem that we're seeing right now is exactly what's happened with like Swalwell and what happened with Biden and Bernie Sanders. Radicals will turn on you in a heartbeat if it's going to help them.
Right.
I mean, Robespierre lost his head in the French Revolution, and he was the one who ran the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it just seems like a lot of people don't seem to notice these things. And I mean, look what they did to Bernie Sanders when he was running against Hillary for the primary.
He won the primaries. He was going to win.
Yeah, exactly.
He was more popular.
He was going to be the nominee for president, but they wanted Hillary Clinton. So they made someone else drop out of the race to take the votes away from them to give to Hillary.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. And I'm pretty sure that's what they did to Swalwell in California, was because there still might be 2 Republicans on the ticket and no Democrats because of this ranked choice thing.
They love the ranked choice voting. It worked well for them for years, so we'll see what happens this time around.
Isn't that what we say every time, Brian, that the Democrats do something like this? Is like, this is going to come around and it's going to bite them in the ass, and they're going to be pissed off and want to get rid of it right away, and they're the ones who put it into place in the first place.
Yep.
It happens over and over again. They keep doing it.
Over and over again.
Criminy. Anyway, that's our show.
I'm going to crunch it all.